here for you when things go bad. We're local, resourceful, and have a proven record of success.
I'm Stephen Samuels. Our team is big enough to handle any case and small enough to care about each one.
We get South Carolina because we're true South Carolina. Samuels Reynolds. True injuries, true lawyers. 803-779-4000.
Taxes was waiting on the refund you needed yesterday.
All right, your car repair is going to run about $3,000.
Now Taxes is getting back on the road with TurboTax and Credit Karma, where you can get your refund up to 5 days faster and get personalized guidance to take every dollar further. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Deposit a federal refund into Credit Karma Money account and early submission of refund data by IRS required. Terms apply. Banking services provided by MVB Bank, Inc. Member FDIC. Credit Karma is not a bank.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text HIM to 215215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text HIM to 215215. That's HIM to 215215.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Paid for by Adaptive Health.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring correctional officers statewide. Officers must be at least 18 years of age and have a high school diploma or GED. If you have correctional, police, security, or military experience, you can join their team at a promotional rank as a sergeant or lieutenant. Discover a rewarding correctional career with a room for long-term career advancement and a generous employee benefits package that cares for you and your family. Visit joinscdc.com to apply today. Sponsored by SC Department of Corrections, SCBA, and this station.
Hey guys, it's Jay Phillips for the Men's Clinic. You're not feeling like yourself as you get older? You're wondering why? Don't wait for it to change or go away. Instead, see Dr. Dan Balknight and his team at the Men's Clinic. You'll have a one-on-one consultation that gets to the root of the issues and gets you back to feeling like you used to. No such thing as a one-size-fits-all treatment at the Men's Clinic. Call them up for a free consultation, 803-875-MENS, and learn more online at themensclinicsc.com.
At AAA Heating and Air, home comfort is their top priority. Call today to schedule a seasonal maintenance appointment. Let AAA Heating and Air qualified technicians put your mind at ease with a thorough inspection and cleaning of your heating and cooling system. Join their popular AAA Comfort Club to take advantage of extras like flexible visits, added discounts, and priority scheduling. Visit callAAAtoday.com to schedule an appointment. Tell them Preston on the Game sent you.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station. The Postgame Show with Jay Phillips and Terry Ford on the Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
Bar, but we're ready to roll. We'll see how this goes. I got the dump button near me. I know where it's at. I see 3 of them, though. I don't know if that's a good sign or not, to be quite honest. But anyway, post-game show. Great times at Charwood today. Record-setting day. More folks than we've ever had at this thing. Appreciate everybody who came out and hung around. And, of course, everybody decided to do shots and mimosas in honor of Jay Phillips. So you were the excuse while we all sat around getting liquored up.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. I appreciate that. I can't, so you can do more. I appreciate that. That's good.
Here for you, Beb. That's what
yeah. Pulling for me.
That's right. How you doing,
Pulling for
Phillips?
me.
You doing all right?
I'm doing well, thank you. I've got a couple of daughters coming home this weekend, so I'm happy about that. Hadn't seen them in a little while off at school, and they've got the little Easter weekend break, so they're going to come hang out with their father, which is cool because my wife and my oldest are in our nation's capital, shopping for wedding dresses. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. We got we got something in the spring. It's spring, right? Or spring or summer?
Yeah, well, it's about a year away. It's about a year away.
Okay, so we got a year. Okay.
But as I understand it, you have to get ahead of these things.
I've heard. Now,
so
I also hear the father of the bride, if their the first initial of their last name is anything past M, has to pay for everything. I just read that today. It's really weird. What a coincidence.
Yeah, I gotta be honest with you, dude. I think if it's if your last name, if you're a father of the bride and your last name starts with the letter of the alphabet, you have to pay for it.
If it starts with a dollar sign,
yeah,
you're paying.
And
yes,
if the wedding is on a day that ends in Y, then you have to pay for it.
Yeah, exactly. So they go like, look at Jay crying. He's so happy. No, he just got the bill.
Yeah, it'll be all of that. It'll be all of that. I don't know what the pie chart will look like when all is said and done in terms of things that make me cry. But yeah, we looking forward to a good weekend, and way to go Gamecock baseball with a I got to be honest, didn't see that coming. Wouldn't tell you I didn't see a win coming. Although I would have said that a win was probably low on the odds meter, But hey, great for them. Yeah. Now you've got 2 chances to win a series against the number 2 team in the country, and start to feel better about yourself. Again, still, Terry, an incredibly tall mountain to climb, and you don't have a whole lot of tools at your disposal to do it. But this is a great win, but you've got to build upon it. You can't let it be some kind of one-off. This can't be, and I know it's not apples to apples, but this can't be like when Carolina went to Athens a few years back in the Muschamp regime and beat Georgia, only to basically not win again, I think, at least against anybody worth a darn. You've got to find a way to take one of these next 2, and you got State coming in here pretty soon and the rest of the SEC schedule, and you just, you need to put some together. Again, to get a playoff berth is going to be difficult, man, because of the hole that you're already in. But put a few of these together and see what you can go do. But last night, a really nice performance. Very impressed.
Well, especially when you want to get a starting pitcher who has been, dominant all year. I mean, look, all you got to do was pop up the stats last night and say, wow, that dude's filthy. He almost gave up as many runs last night against South Carolina as he's given up all year. I mean, he's just been pitching at a high level. And I love Monty post-game talking about, look, he's a 4-pitch pitcher. Our game plan was to cut him down to a 2-pitch pitcher. Don't swing at anything soft. Play the cutter, hunt the fastball, and we're not going to worry about any of the off-speed pitches. We're going to let him go. And it worked. It worked because they got to him early and often. It was nice. It was nice.
No, it was impressive. I know we'll get some of that Monty sound in just a little bit. To let everybody know, because I forgot to put it out on Twitter, that's my fault. About 2:58, I was like, dadgummit, I didn't put out my daily coming up tweet on what we were doing. So, but we got full focus on Phoenix. No alliteration intended there. But we got Elijah is out there. He'll be with us, Terry, 3:30, and then top of the 4, our buddy Brad Muller. Again, Brad, bless his heart, yesterday was swallowed up in the bowels of the arena. What is it, Money Mortgage or Mortgage something arena?
Yeah, whatever it's
downtown
called
Phoenix.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was down underneath, couldn't get a signal out to us as he was on the team bus. And so he'll be with us today at 4. And then our good friend David Cloninger, also out in Phoenix covering this tournament, will be with us. And D.C. last night, Terry Ford. D.C. was at the Braves-Diamondbacks game. And if you're a Braves fan, you probably already know this. But if you don't, Atlanta won last night 17-2. And
they knew D.C. was there. They knew Cloninger was there.
D.C. was there, and he put out, I forget the stat, I think he said the last, like the combined number, the combined score of the last games that he's been, like the last 3 games he's been to is like 31-2. But that includes a World Series game from a couple of years ago. So, David needs to go more often.
Well,
maybe that's the problem. Maybe he's the problem and just didn't want to admit it.
He doesn't go to enough games. I think his good buddy Alex Anthopoulos should give David a season ticket into the suite sitting next to Anthopoulos for the rest of the season for home games.
I see. I'm just, so whatever it takes, man, whatever it takes. But as my dear late mother would have said, they need to save some of those runs for another time. But after a while last night, the Diamondbacks literally gave up and put their backup catcher in to throw eephus pitches, and the Braves were just teeing off on him, man. So it went from bad to worse for Arizona last night.
Cloninger pitched for Arizona in the 7th inning. I don't know if
have you seen did you see any of the highlights of that guy throwing the ball?
I did. God love him. What was that? 22 miles an hour.
Oh yeah. I mean, seriously, was it going 60?
No, it was not. To answer your question, it was not.
Made me think back to my high school days of man, I was Nolan Ryan compared to that guy. Sitting here throwing 78, going, all right, man, hit that.
What makes that even funnier is when a guy's throwing 52 like that, and because you're a major league hitter and you don't see stuff like that, hell, slow pitch softball games don't have stuff like that, and you go up there and you strike out because you can't time it, and then the guys in the dugout just kill you. They kill you.
Well, Braves hit a few off of that guy.
Yeah, they did, man.
Anyway, that's just one, but Atlanta goes to 5-2, but DC was there. So in addition to his reporting on the Gamecocks and the Final Four, we'll get a little insight on what it was like at I think is it Bank One? Is that their
I think it's Bank One or something like it. They change them every 2 months. I've given up on that. I don't care anymore what these things are named. Just corporate whatever. Fill in a blank. But you know what's fun? It was funny and you felt bad at the same time. Felt bad for Brad Muller. God love him. He's sending us a text message. I have half a bar. I can't make a phone call. So we'll get Brad in today, but he was trying. God love him. That half-hour window, he was giving it an effort to try to get in yesterday, but he couldn't.
Yeah, and we got some sound from Dawn, from Gino. We'll get into all of those things for you, so plenty to do ahead of the Final Four. And to remind everybody, baseball on our airwaves tonight, basketball on B106. So if you're in the car, traveling somewhere, Gamecocks galore all across the place. And Monty hoping that last night's win brings out a lot more folks on a Friday night. So... Yep. And, go have fun at the ballpark. See if Carolina can take a second game against Texas. Speaking of Final Four, men's Final Four tomorrow, Connecticut, Illinois, followed by Michigan and Arizona. If you have not heard, and the man himself announced it today, Tommy Lloyd, the head coach at Arizona, has signed a new 5-year extension with Arizona through 2031. So, Terry, I have to believe with 99% certainty at least that takes him out of the running for the North Carolina job?
I believe 99.999. He's going to be one of the 5 highest paid coaches in men's college basketball. And by the way, let's hear for Tommy Lloyd using that leverage, baby. Nice job, Tommy Lloyd. Use your leverage.
Well, and Arizona wants to keep him. Sure. And what's Michigan doing for Dusty May? Does North Carolina? Because it felt like maybe Tommy Lloyd was choice one. It's obvious, Terry. It's obvious that those two guys, and maybe Brad Underwood too, are on the list. But I say those two guys, Dusty May and Tommy Lloyd, in that Arizona-Michigan game, it certainly feels, with everything that I've read anyway, and probably you too, like those are the top 2 candidates. Again, Underwood, I've seen his name. Mark Byington at Vanderbilt feels like a guy who will absolutely take the job, but is not amongst North Carolina's certainly top-tier candidates. Right. However many may be in that top tier, I think Byington leads tier 2. And I feel like maybe they've already had a conversation with him and his folks to say, hey, sit tight. We like you. And coaches, I guess, understand, Terry. Sure. Byington's going to understand. Yeah, I'd go for Dusty May or Tommy Lloyd first too. But
the resumes are better, right? The resumes are better. The thing is, I've seen a couple things that May isn't interested. Now, again, that can be just agents throwing stuff out to build up offers and things of that nature. But again, you and I have talked about it. Our man crush on Dusty May is deep. You and I officially we're the official hire Coach May North Carolina. But I'm going to say this, Jay. I was looking at what Hubert Davis was getting paid, and I know part of it is Hubert was promoted. I also know that Hubert obviously would give Chapel Hill a hometown discount anytime because obviously his love for his alma mater. But if you want Dusty May, dude, it's going to have to start with like 6s or 7s in the millions, or you're not getting Dusty May because right now he's one of the top 10 highest paid coaches.
I was figuring they probably have to start him darn near 10, man.
They might have to. I'll tell you what, they might have to because, look, at this point.
Because Michigan's going to get up to that now. I mean, and Michigan can afford it. North Carolina can't afford it. They've been trying to get away with doing this, dare I say, on the cheap for a little bit. But one piece I read in the Raleigh paper, in the Observer the other day, did basically admit North Carolina, now, as they transition from Bubba Cunningham to the new guy, I forget his name, I'm sorry, former NASCAR executive who takes over this summer officially, that they understand. Because I think Hubert was making like 3.5.
Yeah, he was. A matter of fact, he was not far from where Lamont was. To be fair,
I mean, and I think they understand that it's certainly going to have to double, if not again, maybe darn near triple.
Look,
so
the world of people want to come coach for you because you're North Carolina and you've got a cool museum of greats and you have a lot of banners and a lot of retired jerseys and the guy on the Nike swoosh played there and all that other stuff. That doesn't look, everybody goes, that's really cute. How much are you going to pay me? That's the world we live in.
I mean,
today.
Michigan wears Jumpman, right? So there's that. Think about that for a second. Florida wears Jumpman. I saw something though, and again, look, I'm not here to defend North Carolina and its basketball tradition. It does kind of speak for itself. Sure. But I was talking about Tommy Lloyd and hey, how different is North Carolina from Arizona right now? And I suppose it just depends on exactly how far back you want to go. If we're going all the way back to Dean Smith, no comparisons. But even if we're just sticking in this century, for as good as Arizona always is and competitive as they always are, this is their first Final Four in 25 years.
Right.
In that same 25 years, North Carolina has won 3 national titles, and they've lost 2 other title games.
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't, again, it depends on how far back you want to go. And even I am one that's guilty of saying, these kids these days, 25 years ago, they weren't alive. They don't care.
No, they don't care.
And I understand that.
They don't care. And here's the other part. Right now, what it is this. North Carolina, and look, again, a lot of my family love the Tar Heels. So I know all about it, unfortunately. But all that tradition, what matters today is this, ready? Are you going to give me the resources to win big? Are you going to give me the NIL money to build a roster? You're going to pay my assistants. You're going to give us the money to be able to compete in this volatile world that we're in today. And I guarantee you, Tommy Lloyd, as we dig more into this contract, there probably guarantees in there about roster building money, assistant coach pool. All that stuff is, I hate to say it, Jay, because I'm like you. I appreciate tradition, but today tradition takes a back seat to how much money you're going to give me to make a successful program.
No, it's fair. It's absolutely fair. Yeah. And so I get it. But anyway, Tommy Lloyd, new deal. Dusty May, Brad Underwood, still coaching. Maybe they're next on the list. Mark Byington. Maybe there's an other out there somewhere. Billy Donovan still seems very interested, and I don't think that would be a bad hire if Billy is okay with getting back in the recruiting game, because it felt like when he left Florida for the NBA and first went to Oklahoma or Oklahoma City, that getting out of that part of it was like liberating for him, Terry. And now not only do you have to go recruit, but you got all this other stuff. And is Billy going to want to deal with that? Maybe he calls his mentor Rick Pitino and says, "Coach, how do I handle it?" And Coach says, "Here's how you handle it. They're going to pay you $10 million.
Absolutely.
Just shut up and go coach."
Exactly. All right. We'll talk more about that, obviously. But next up, kind of a big game tonight in Phoenix. We'll talk about that. Can South Carolina knock off UConn? Yes, they can. We'll talk about the road to that next on the postgame show on the game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
We have a new way for you to call the AAA Heating and Air phone lines. Just dial pound 250, and when prompted, punch in the keywords, the game. And that's it. Again, pound 250 with the keywords, the game. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
New Bluebell Brookie a la mode ice cream brings brownies and cookies together like never before. Big chunks of brownies, soft chocolate chip cookie pieces blended into a rich, creamy brown sugar ice cream. It's not too good to be true. It's just that good.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at Walmart Supercenters and neighborhood markets.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. Visit CordellCordell.com.
1201 Main Street, Columbia.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation, so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
When your money's on the line, are you okay with a basic free tax service? Get the confidence of TurboTax with free Fed and state filing on Intuit Credit Karma. Around 37% of filers qualify. Simple 1040s only. See details at turbotax.com/free.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing. And for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Hate paying for streaming? Well, the 107.5 The Game app is free. Yes, free. Just download the 107.5 The Game app.
The Postgame Show with Jay Phillips and Terry Ford on the Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
I just remember getting beat by 20, honestly. I think we got new players in. This is their first time experiencing the Final Four, but I think Coach Staley and the other coaches are doing a good job of keeping the main thing, and helping us be ready when the moment is here.
There's Raven Johnson talking about, just was asked about the matchup from last year compared to this year. Look, Jay, it's a different team. South Carolina than last year. And I think, honestly, not just saying this because, hey, we're supposed to pump up your, optimism, but I think it's a more rounded team than last year's. I think it's more versatile, especially offensively. And I think I have like 5 things about this game, and I'll throw you one really quick. And this is where it ties into this year's team better than last year's team. In both losses last year, South Carolina shot under 40% from the floor, both games. This team, to me, you didn't have an Ocott type in the paint last year like you do this year. You don't have someone who can put the ball on the deck and create either for themselves or for others like Latson. Raven's better than last year. Joyce Edwards is better than she was last year. Tessa's better. And then you got the freshman McKeer, who could be an X factor in this game offensively and defensively. And then I just think you are offensively with those folks. You are a more well-rounded, versatile team that can score in more ways than you could last year. Does that make sense?
It does. I think that's accurate too. And last year the game got away from Carolina. I think there, and I don't remember specifically as much, but I just remember there were a few possessions, second quarter, where Carolina didn't score and Connecticut hit threes, and all of a sudden what was a decent game just got away and never came back. And Connecticut, I mean, Becker's on the team last year, I think was certainly, when you think about it, that just made that much more difficult for Carolina to try and figure out who to defend. When you just think of how good and talented they are, but it was just it was tough. I mean, again, you've got some terrific players this year, and obviously Azzi Fudd is fantastic. Mm-hmm. Sarah Strong is even better than Fudd, perhaps, even though Fudd seems to get a lot of the attention. Because I think last year, let me look and see. I know this was in one of the
Fudd
write-ups.
was the most valuable player of the Final Four last year, but Strong had a double-double. She had a double-double and averaged 4.5 assists in those 2 games last year. So they both played well against South Carolina. And
Strong and Fudd scored 24 points in the title game. Was the MOP of the Final Four. And again, they did everything. And then when you threw Beckers in the mix, it was just tough. And I just how much more, Dawn talked about remember, we kind of said, it was I'll put it mostly on me perhaps, was there any revenge factor with Oklahoma? Nope, they're just in our way to get to the next step. Okay. And Dawn didn't mention revenge, but she did say we needed to learn our lesson. I think we have that one, Terry, don't we? The lesson from last year. I can't remember if that's one. But let's hear that if we've got it. But just, on how Carolina basically could use what didn't happen in Tampa in the championship game last year to their advantage tonight.
All right, let me dig this baby up here.
I think we have that one.
I'm looking for it. Give me a second here. I'm going to turn back around history. We got history facing Gino. I don't see exactly.
Yeah, it might not. Well, let's see. But we might not have that. I tell you what. I tell you what is a good one though is number 5 from Dawn on our list today, and that's just again preparing to be in a game in this magnitude.
We'll get it. Here we go.
No, I mean, you have to practice. There's certain things that you want, in the game situations, and you work those. You work more special situations. We need a 2, we need a 3. We're advancing the ball with side. We're going to take it out on, I think, Sacramento. We were preparing for the in the game situation, and we like to take the ball out on the left side, and usually that is actually on the right side. Sorry, but Sacramento, our bench was on the right side, so we actually had to practice the other side, the side in which we can play from our dominant hands. So you do have to really practice that. And one of our coaches really pointed that out to us, which I wasn't really thinking about. And then during that practice, she was like, we may need to practice taking it out on the other side because that's our norm.
And the thing is, here's the thing, Jay. South Carolina has played in a bunch of tight games. Obviously, they've lost a few. Connecticut has not played in a single-digit game since they beat Michigan by 3 in late November. And that look, that game, you can see a couple things in that one. First of all, UConn shot under 40% from the floor in that game. As a matter of fact, Michigan made more threes than UConn in that game, and UConn turned it over 17 times. And so, again, UConn shot under 40%. They have not been shooting that great in the last 2 games of the NCAA tournament. So if you can get them to where they're not, blistering the nets, and you're shooting 45 to 50%, that's going to help you out in this game. And one thing UConn does not do to a high level is protect the backboards. They're not a great rebounding team. South Carolina is one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country. So that might be your advantage there. Can you get some offensive rebounds, put back, second chance opportunities, second chance points? If you can win that game, that's going to help you out as well. And, it's just one of those things. Look, Fudd and Strong are two of the 5 best players in America, 2 of the 4 best players in America.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're going to get theirs, Jay, right? I mean, you don't want them to combine for 70, but they're going to get theirs. They're going to get shots. And look, I guarantee you, Dawn and the crew watched the Michigan tape. And what did Michigan do anything defensively to take UConn out of their rhythm, or just UConn have a bad shooting night? And look, the one thing we know about South Carolina, Jay, they're going to get in your grill on defense. And there's 3 things you can control: offensive rebounding, defensive intensity, and shooting the ball better. And if you can do those 3 things, you got a much better chance of winning this game than you had the last 2.
I agree, and is defense the biggest thing here? And you mentioned rebounding, which I think Carolina's been great at. And look, in the 2 games in Sacramento, they went up against great duos and inside-out duos, and for the most part, Dawn talked about the inefficiency. Let them shoot. Mm-hmm. Let them shoot a lot. Just make them take bad shots. Right. If they get some, they get some. But if they're taking a bunch of bad shots and we're holding them to a low percentage from the floor, that's advantage us, because that gives us more opportunities to go rebound the basketball and play our brand. And so, now look, I think Strong and Fudd are going to be a better duo than what Carolina saw from the other 2, but the principle still stands in terms of what you want to go be able to do with them. So it won't be something Carolina hasn't seen. And Carolina saw, I know they lost to Texas twice, but you've seen Texas. You beat LSU in their gym, so you've seen very good basketball teams. Yeah, and I talked about it, Terry. Can you take your intensity in Baton Rouge and apply it to tonight? Because if you can, I like your opportunity even more.
And we'll get back in here. We'll get more about this game with our buddy right now, sleeping somewhere in the bowels of the arena in Phoenix, getting ready for tonight's game. Elijah Campbell. By the way, let's see. Did a morning show 6 to 9. Did a hit at 10:30 with Tyler. A hit at 2:30 with Bill. Now he's going to do one with us. He might be awake for 3 straight days. I don't know.
Yeah. Do they sell 15-hour energy?
Yeah. Whatever that stuff is, they're drinking here. Him and Tyler and Adair. They sell it in kegs. He needs kegs.
He's going to need a whole one.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get to Elijah next here on the Postgame Show on the Game Network, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
All my sports. The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 96.9 The Game in Charleston. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence. Gamecock fans, get ready for something new this season. Charleston now has a new station for Carolina sports talk. Dial in to 96.9 The Game on HD3. Head to 96.9 FM and on an HD radio, punch into HD Channel 3. You'll unleash live Carolina coverage you can listen to all day long. New on HD3. It's 96.9 The Game HD3, South Carolina's newest sports station.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the misses.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text HIM to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text HIM to 215-215. That's HIM to 215-215.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Paid for by Adaptive Health.
I grew up in South Carolina. I went to school here, I met my wife here, and together we opened the Jeffcoat firm right here to help our community get the support they deserve.
We believe that local is better.
And you deserve better.
Responsible attorney is Michael Jeffcoat, 1333 Main Street, Columbia.
Hey guys, it's Jay Phillips for AAA Heating and Air. You know, every homeowner's dream is a house that cleans itself, right? Well, we might not be able to do that, but what if you could clean your air without lifting a finger, even when you're sleeping? AAA Heating and Air offers indoor air quality products that do just that. These products work with your HVAC system to improve your home's air quality. Cleaning the air eliminates common household odors, removes allergens and pollutants, and can even improve sleep and reduce the spread of some viruses. And remember, at AAA Heating and Air, home comfort is their top priority. Call today to schedule a seasonal maintenance appointment. Let AAA Heating and Air's qualified technicians put your mind at ease with a thorough inspection and cleaning of your heating and cooling system. Join their popular AAA Comfort Club to take advantage of extras like flexible visits, added discounts, and priority scheduling. Let AAA Heating and Air take your comfort to the next level. Call 803-677-1500 and schedule today.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because Rhino Shield is backed by a 25-year warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call at 833-RHINO-99. Call now and receive 15% off the regular price. Or go to RhinoShieldCarolina.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
Call now, 833-RHINO-99 for your 15% off. Or go to RhinoShieldCarolina.com.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com.
I grew up in South Carolina. I went to school here, I met my wife here, and together we opened the Jeffcoat firm right here to help our community get the support they deserve.
We believe that local is better.
And you deserve better.
Responsible attorney is Michael Jeffcoat, 1333 Main Street, Columbia.
Inside with Chris Van Vliet.
Hey, I'm Chris Van Vliet.
Behind-the-scenes conversations with the biggest names in pro wrestling and beyond.
How did you know you weren't going to kill Hornswoggle with that move? I didn't. That fall with suicide. I don't know how you survived.
Yeah, luck. And special live coverage of the biggest professional wrestling event of the year.
If you've ever wanted to know where the best place to watch WrestleMania is, right here. I've got a live show there, Insight Live, on the Thursday night.
Pro wrestling at its best.
Insight with Chris Van Vliet. Follow and listen on your favorite platform. See you there.
The Postgame Show with Jay Phillips and Terry Ford on the Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube. Road tripping with the Gamecocks through March. Elijah Campbell covering the USC women at the Final Four in Phoenix. Sponsored by Griffin Pools and Spas, Lexington, and Forest Lake Travel and Forest Acres. On the Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
All right, we're jumping in with our buddy live from Phoenix. By the way, Jay.
Yeah.
He set an alarm 30 seconds before this radio hit, so he can wake up and.
Savvy.
Yeah. It's like
he knows what's up. He's
like,
a pro.
Did I ever I don't know if I ever told. I know I told Elijah. But back in the old days, when I first started in radio, and Jay, you know this, the Sunday morning live religious shows that you would do at radio stations, and we used to call it Sunday.
I never
morning
had to run
sign.
one, but we did run some. Yeah.
Did you? Yeah. And so when you were like first starting the business, you did Sunday morning sign on, And, of course, I was very young, so I was doing Saturday night drink on to go to Sunday morning sign on. And I would take a pillow with me. We'd run some of these canned shows for a while from 6 to 10. So I had my alarm, old school alarm clock. I'd set it for 27 minutes. I'd face in a pillow for 27 minutes. Alarm clock would go off. I'd get up, make sure the shows were on the reel-to-reel, hit it, go back to sleep. 27 minutes later, alarm clock would go. I did 27-minute naps for 4 hours.
Nice.
Oh.
Nice.
It was sweet.
Nice. Good for you, man.
Now, Elijah was doing a couple
glad your old
hour
bosses
naps.
aren't listening.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Oh, trust me. I'll tell you stories off the air about that radio station. Anyway, our boy here took a couple hour naps in between radio hits.
Well, he needs to. I mean, he had to get up at 3 o'clock Pacific time. He had a 3 o'clock Pacific time show.
Yeah, you know what's sad, Elijah? I was thinking about maybe not having you do it, but Jay said, no, make him work.
No, it's the opposite.
I got to earn my keep.
Tell him that. No, I was like, I can't believe you're making that boy get up that early. That's what I said. But, well, we're glad you're here. Phoenix is a cool town. Have you enjoyed it? So have you had a chance to enjoy Phoenix?
I have, yeah. Thankfully, one of my best friends from growing up lives less than a mile from the arena. So he picked me up from the airport last night, drove me around town. We had dinner last night at maybe the best taco place I've ever had in my life. It was phenomenal. And we have plans for tomorrow. Depending on if there's media availability needed for South Carolina and what to do after the media availability if they do win. So I'm getting a really good tour here. This place rules. I'm not going to lie. I'm walking outside right now, and it feels fantastic.
Yeah. Phoenix is a cool town, man. I've been there, and I told Terry, when you say Phoenix, it's like Atlanta. That place is gigantic, and it's spread out over a large area. But Sky Harbor Airport's pretty cool, huh?
Oh, it's neat. Yeah, it was really neat. Very easy maneuver. Honestly, I had zero problems with air travel in Phoenix yesterday.
No, it's fun. All right, so I put X Factor on my rundown, and I put question mark, and then my first answer was Agat McKeer. Is Agat McKeer Carolina's X Factor?
She certainly can be. That's the thing too. When you play a team like UConn, that is such a lights-out three-point shooting team, sometimes maybe the best defense is to make sure they don't have the opportunity to get shots off. And if I'm looking at this team, Jay, I mean, you look at your best defenders. Usually they're all good on-ball defenders, but your best off-ball defenders are sometimes the ones who are causing a lot of the steals. That's Tanaya Latson. That's Raven Johnson. That's also Agat McKeer. I think it's one thing you don't realize kind of how long she is, how long her arms are, until you're sitting courtside watching and seeing her pick people's pockets. I think her defensively is just as big an X factor as what she can do scoring-wise. Like we saw her put up 18 against TCU, and actually it looked like an easy 18. I think you're going to need that, but I think the game tonight's going to be won on how many stops you're able to get on the defensive end, because I think they will be able to score probably the adequate amount of points needed to win this thing.
All right, Elijah Campbell, I'm going to throw a name at you because we've been sitting around talking about Sarah Strong and obviously Fudd and those two and how good they are, and they did do a lot of damage last year to Carolina, those two games. How about this name, my friend? How about Bianca Quinenez, or I can't even say it. She's been killing it in the NCAA tournament. That might be the X factor for UConn to keep a look at.
It certainly is. And Bianca Quinonez, great three-point shooter. Yes, there we go. See, that's called a putback, offensive rebound, putback. Also another thing that's going to be key for tonight's game. But the thing about Quinonez, too, is that she didn't shoot as well as the three other players on her team that have hoisted over 100 triples this year and made over 40% of them. Again, UConn's got three of those players. Quinonez is sitting there at like 38%. So not far behind. And she's certainly been the X factor for them, because if you look at how UConn got here, the last two games between North Carolina and Notre Dame have been their two lowest scoring outputs of the entire season, have been the last two games. And those have been some of Quinonez's best scoring games. She's helped them get out of some funks. They had some scoring funks, like in the first quarter against North Carolina, where they actually trailed after one. And then also against Notre Dame, where even though defensively they shut Notre Dame down, offensively it did look a little clunky at times. But Quinonez actually ends up being the spark. She's definitely UConn's version of Agat McKeer, which makes sense too, because Quinonez, like McKeer, also a freshman.
Elijah, Dawn talked about trying to learn a lesson or taking the lesson from last season and how Carolina played and trying to apply it. You know, we talked about there. You know, she said there was no revenge factor against Oklahoma, simply an obstacle in along the way to get to this point. So she's not saying revenge. You know, and we know that the recent history almost favors South Carolina in this particular head-to-head matchup with Connecticut. But in terms of this stage, at least the Final Four, I know last year was a title game, but in terms of this stage, you know, what is that lesson? And what does Carolina, in your estimation, from what you've got gathered around the team, most need to apply from last year to this year?
I think the thing that most need to apply is just the understanding that last year's UConn team is not this year's UConn team. You last year, not what you were this year. Jay, earlier this week, I went back and watched last year's championship game to just see if there's anything that looks different, to kind of re-jog my memory. I was there. I remember exactly how I felt in that late in the first quarter when South Carolina lost their little lead and they couldn't stop the bleeding in the second quarter. And I thought, if you get to single digits at halftime, you have a chance to win this game. And UConn goes and hits 2 straight threes to end the half, and it kind of got wild from there. But throughout watching that, when I first put it on, I looked at the starting lineups and I said, that's interesting, because there's a lot of similar faces on both of these teams. But if you look at the starting lineups, Jay Phillips, out of the 10 players that took the floor at tip-off, only 3 players will be starting tonight, right? AZ Fudd, Sarah Strong, Raven Johnson. And with UConn, too, there's still a lot of similar players. Jana El Alfie started that game, but she's only started 1 game this year for UConn. They've been bringing her off the bench. They have some freshmen that they've been playing in their rotation. For South Carolina, they're going to have 2 starters in Joyce Edwards and Tessa Johnson that came off the bench in that title game. So they'll be starting in this game. Oh, and you added the nation's leading scorer last year, and Medina Okot. It definitely changed how this team has played this year, and it certainly has changed how they look going into the event. I think we can all remember going into that national championship game, with the exception of the Texas game in the Final Four, not their best tournament, right? They had to squeak out a win against 8-seeded Indiana at home. They had to survive multiple scoring droughts against Maryland and Duke to get to the Final Four. They didn't look the same offensively. They weren't playing their best offensive basketball. Just like I'm here in the desert right now, where it is notorious for drought, that was what the offense was like going into the Final Four last year. That's not the case this season. I think they're just playing with a lot more momentum, and they're clicking at a lot better time at this point in the season than they were going into last year. And I think they're very well cognizant of that fact, and I think that's helping them a little bit mentally.
Elijah Campbell live from Phoenix, side of the Final Four tonight. UConn, South Carolina. You can hear it at our sister station, B1067, this evening. Pregame gets going at 6:30 with Brad Muller, Ed Bird on the board. All right, in 30 seconds, I scribbled down 5 keys to this game. Give me your major key to a South Carolina victory.
Run them off the three-point line. Run them off. If you look at all the lowest scoring outputs from UConn, the 10 lowest scoring outputs from UConn this year, 8 of those feature games which they shoot 20 or fewer threes. They like to shoot. They make a lot of them. If you can make them shoot tough mid-range jumpers, if you can funnel the drives from Sarah Strong and AZ Fudd, and make them have to shoot over Medina Okot or shoot over Joyce Edwards, the math will be in your favor. And if the math is in your favor defensively, you're going to find yourself at the under 4 timeout with a very close game, and that instance on, anything can happen. Run them off the three-point line.
All right, you're there for a reason. 2 people got you there, and God knows it wasn't Jay and I. Talk about the 2 folks that got you there.
Daisy Miller, Forest Lake Travel, big MVP candidates here. Look, not very good with logistics. Daisy is my savior in that regard. Planned everything to get me here. She can do the same thing for you. Whether you're working for or traveling for work or traveling for vacation, highly recommend Forest Lake Travel and our pal Daisy Miller. And then, of course, Griffin Pools and Spas. They, Josh told me earlier this morning, free water testing. Free water testing is pretty cool, especially now that everybody's getting their pools ready. Get your pool spring ready. Full inventory of spas, Turtle Box, Yeti, etc. You name it, Griffin Pools and Spas got it. That's why they make you feel good.
All right, Elijah Campbell live from Phoenix. Enjoy yourself, my friend. We will hopefully talk to you on Monday about maybe a parade and cool stuff like that. All right, we'll see you, pal. Have a good one.
See you, man.
All right, we'll come back here on the post-game show. Time to open the vault here on The Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
This hour of in-show listening on 1075 The Game is sponsored by QC Kinetics in West Columbia, the non-surgical regenerative orthopedic specialists of the Midlands. Request your consultation today by dialing pound 250 and use keyword QC Kinetics.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
Presented by Chumba Casino, your online casino for plays, spins, and a chance to score. Must be 21 and over. Terms at ChumbaCasino.com. The Las Vegas Raiders agreed to terms with Kirk Cousins on a one-year, $20 million guaranteed deal yesterday. Shout out to Kirk Cousins' agent. Has there ever been someone to make more money while accomplishing less in sports? I don't think so. I'm Chris Fleck.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
The Postgame Show with Jay Phillips and Terry Ford on the Game Network, the 1075 The Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube. Time to open the vault. Sponsored by Purple Wave Auction. It's the Postgame Show on the Game Network.
Oh, good stuff here in the vault. Again tonight, 6:45. Pre-game, 7 o'clock first pitch, South Carolina, Texas, on 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach, and obviously South Carolina, UConn in the Final Four, and our sister station B1067 coverage with Brad Muller, Redbird, 6:30. Again, that's on B106. All right, Jay Phillips, we got some interesting history. You ready?
All right, let's do it.
Couple old school for you. In 1966, some dude named Tom Seaver signed with the New York Mets.
Yeah, it's funny, man, because I only knew Tom Seaver as a Red. And it took until, I'm not to say I'm a baseball historian, but it took me a few years after his playing there. Maybe by the time he got to like Chicago when he was a White Sox, that I realized how great of a New York Met he was. I only knew him as a Red.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, our generation, the Mets had dealt him to the Reds, and we saw him as a Red. We didn't see him as a Met. That's before our time. One reason I know about his history of the Mets because the Mets beat the Orioles in the '69 World Series, and everybody in the city of Baltimore hates Tom Seaver to this day, or the old folks.
That's fair. That's fair.
They don't let things go well, Jay. Just saying.
I believe it. I don't always get over some of those things either.
My dad, Dean Ford, to the day he left us, hated the Mets. Off the last
well, good for him.
Last night I was like, it's like you should be mad at the Orioles. They blew the series. What are you mad at the Mets for? And of course, he just looked at me. He just looked at me with a cigarette in his mouth. He go, boy, nobody asked you to talk.
I agree with him. Yeah, I agree with him. You should
Jay,
hate the Mets.
Jay, who asked you to talk? Anyway, all right, so Tom Seaver, 1966. This day, this is another good one. This is an interesting one. On this day in 1987, the Chicago Cubs traded starting pitcher Dennis Eckersley to the Oakland A's.
Yeah.
Eckersley won 20 games as a starter with the Cleveland Indians. Eckersley, though, at that point in time, remember, he had some battles with alcohol. Looked like his career was over. He went to the Oakland A's, became one of the greatest closers in the history of the game, except for one pitch.
Yeah, I know, man.
The Kurt Gibson.
Isn't that crazy?
It's insane. It's just so insane. All right, this day in 1991, Bo Jackson signs a one-year contract with the Chicago White Sox. And that was after the hit and everything.
Man,
mm-hmm.
I just, it still saddens me.
I know
that he hurt his knee the way he did. Because golly,
I know.
And it's hard to describe to people that are younger. Just how he was amazing.
I know.
He was special.
Look, I'm not going to speak for you, but for me, getting a chance for our generation to watch Bo Jackson in his prime. No offense to Dion or anybody else who's played two sports, but nobody played two sports like Bo Jackson.
Agreed.
I mean, the dude was a Hall of Fame potential running back, putting up some numbers when he played football. Remember, All-Star MVP, playing for the Kansas City Royals in baseball, did freakish stuff in both games when he played both sports. It was just insane. It was insane.
Yeah.
And then the hip thing. Playoff game against the Bengals, right, Jay? Playoff game against the Bengals when he got tackled awkwardly and it screwed up his hip and he was never the same.
Yeah, it's just...
It's a shame, bro. It's a shame.
Happens. But, man, he was
something else, wasn't he? This happened on this day in 2006.
Magnet for the ball and a reach in. He'll head to the line. And there's the UConnl Center. Watch him when they get the reaction a couple of seconds later.
The UConnl Center in Gainesville, Florida, as the Florida Gators win the national title in 2006. Of course, then they made it 2 in a row in 2007. But they beat UCLA this day to win their first national championship.
I was getting ready to say, I can't remember who they beat for that first one. UCLA, huh? Okay.
Remember, Ben Howland went to like 3 straight Final Fours, and UCLA got beaten every one of them.
Yeah.
Yep. So, this day, Florida got their first national championship. And then they made it back-to-back. North Carolina.
Billy had some dudes, man.
I mean, that team. And, again, this is the world, the different world. And that's only been 20 years. It feels like 200, right? That team, remember, they all came back the next year because they wanted to see if they could repeat. Nobody left. They all came back, that starting 5, and they went and made it back-to-back.
That was something special, else, man.
Al Horford, by the way, still in the NBA. How funny is that?
I know, right? It's crazy.
It is crazy. All right, I'll give you another one here. North Carolina on this day beat Gonzaga 71-65 for the national championship.
2017?
Mm-hmm. I'm not going to lie to you, man. I always want to see Gonzaga win a national championship. I always have wanted.
Feels like it's something that's missing from college basketball in the last, in this century, considering how good they've been.
And that story, a little school in Spokane, all of a sudden becomes this big mid-major power, and all of a sudden now they can compete with the big dogs. And it's just been nice to see them win one of those two they played
I agree.
for. You know?
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know if the ship has sailed. It feels like it kind of has, but maybe not. Maybe
we'll
not.
see. All right, there's the vault. We'll pop back in at 4 o'clock hour. We got David Cloninger, Brad Muller. We're busy. Everybody's in Phoenix but Jay and I. Hour 2 of the postgame show coming up.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
You know, again, we're guys, we don't handle things well when things aren't going our way physically, health-wise. Guys are a pain in the butt. Let's just be honest. We don't like to go to the doctor, the dentist. We don't like to do any of that stuff. We just don't. But if you're just not feeling like you as you get older and you're starting to get a little concerned because, you know, you're weaker, you don't recover from exercise like you used to, can't remember stuff, don't sleep as well as you used to, just don't have that drive in life, you say, you know, there might be a solution to the problem. 803-875-MENS. Call the Men's Clinic of South Carolina. Go in, set up a free consultation, tell Dr. Dan and the crew your story. They'll do a low testosterone test on you, and they will do everything in their power to put you on a program specifically designed for you to get you back to feeling you again. It's the Men's Clinic of South Carolina, 803-875-MENS. Call Dr. Dan and the folks. They'll help you out.
Enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text HIM to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text HIM to 215-215. That's HIM to 215-215. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Paid for by Adaptive Health.
I'm Ultima Morgan. Morgan & Morgan isn't just an injury firm. It's our family's life work. It's my husband, it's my sons, it's me. When we take a case, we see a family just like ours. $30 billion recovered is something I'm proud of. But what I'm really proud of are the families we stood beside. It's an honor to fight for you when you need our support the most. Morgan & Morgan, for the people and your family.
Joe Sandifer, Esquire, 11915 Plaza Drive, Suite 301, Murrells Inlet, South Carolina, 29576.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing. And for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
If your lawnmower sat all winter, you're running out of time to get it ready for spring. Now for a limited time, Cato's Power Equipment is offering special spring service pricing with push-more tune-ups starting at $100 and zero-turn services starting as low as $200. Let Cato's get your equipment tuned up and ready for the mowing season ahead. Need help getting your mower to us? Pickup and delivery starts at just $50. Don't wait. Call or stop by Cato's Power Equipment today and get your mower ready before the grass takes over. Visit catospowerequipment.com.
Your home for the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station. The Post Postgame Show with Jay Phillips and Terry Ford on the Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
The lights are bright here. I just say, be yourself. When your number's called, be ready. But I say the room for margin of error is very, very small. And I think it's starting practice. Like, bring your practice habits to the game, and you'll be good.
That's Raven Johnson at the presser in Phoenix. Of course, tonight, 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock tip. Ed Burden, was it Brad, I'm sorry. Jay, is it Brad?
Brad Muller.
Brad Muller on the call. Hey, buddy.
Yes. How you doing?
Glad to see you.
Well, we got you today, so that's a good thing. Not buried under the bowels of the arena. That's good. That's good. Or maybe you are with a better signal. I don't know. Where are you in downtown Phoenix as we speak?
Yeah, I'm actually in our hotel right now, which is I think in Scottsdale. I think is where we are.
Okay.
Which is just outside the city, and we'll leave here at about 4:50 your time to head to the arena.
All right, so we got you for a few minutes. Look, obviously you're with these ladies virtually every day. You see them at practice, you see them in shoot-around, you see press conferences. There's been a lot of talk this week of the newcomers to the Final Four, and obviously there's plenty of experience with 6 straight trips. Kind of take us through, Brad, what it's been like this week from your vantage point on getting the new players ready to understand the magnitude of the moment.
It's neat because a lot of them haven't been through this before in terms of all the interviews, all the craziness, the open locker rooms where there's just 50 people all of a sudden in the locker room doing all kinds of ridiculous interviews about your favorite Hannah Montana character. Something that has that was an actual question. I'm serious.
Oh God.
And it's just. It gets to the point of ridiculousness, and, it can be a little bit overwhelming at times, I think. But, the ones that have been here before are used to it. But I think it's just kind of eye-opening. We're like, what are we doing? But it's, it's all fun, especially for those, who haven't done it before, because there is so much going on. And there's a lot of nice things, too. We had, the teams went over to the Tourney Town, which is something for the fans, where you have all the games and fun stuff you can do, and it's inside a convention center. But the teams got to do that the day before it opened, where it was just the 4 teams in there, playing the games and doing different things, and that was kind of fun, that whole experience. It's been fun. Like usual, this team is pretty loose, and I think that comes from, the leadership, the Raven Johnsons of the world, where the team doesn't seem too uptight. I feel like they've practiced well. They've got a good game plan in place, and it's going to be a heck of an opportunity.
Brad Muller with us, voice of the Gamecock women, live from his spacious hotel room in Scottsdale. Probably here. Do you have the cucumber things on your eyes right now?
Yeah, I've got a full mud pack on as well. And
all right. Hey, Brad, look at it. You brought up newcomers. And look, this team is different from last year's team. Last year's team in both games against UConn shot under 40% from the floor and just struggled basically to have consistent offense in both of those games. Compare this year's offense to last year's offense.
It's so different because, last year and what we had been known for the last, decade or so with Coach Staley's team is the depth, where you have this wave of 5 players, and then you bring in a second wave, and there's not much of a drop-off. Obviously, you didn't have that for a lot of this year. It took a little while for some of the younger players to go in, plus all the injuries where you just didn't have 5 people, on the bench that could play because you didn't have the bodies. So to me, that's one of the bigger differences. But late in the season, you've seen people really come on. Gott McKeer obviously has had a terrific. The freshman has had a terrific NCAA tournament. Allie Tornabees has really given them some valuable minutes as well. So even though they haven't quite had the depth, I think this offense has been, on par with the rest. They've shot it well, they rebounded well, and they've been able to adjust their lineup to different teams. And I think that's something that maybe we didn't see as much last year. Last year it was pretty steady with what the lineup was. This year, obviously, you have a bigger big with Medina Okot inside to go along with Joyce Edwards, whereas last year your starting post was a lot smaller, with like Sanaya Fagan and all that. So teams have to game plan a little bit differently. And then when that's not working, as we saw against TCU, you can go with a four-guard lineup and have Joyce be the big in there, and you can run a little bit more. So I think that this offense has been a little bit more flexible, but you also have the opportunity, to be bigger inside than a lot of your opponents.
Brad, I want to ask you a question that I asked Elijah a little bit earlier, and it has to do with piggybacking off of something Dawn said about learning a lesson from last year's game against Connecticut. Again, not looking for revenge, but simply what can be done better. And I asked Elijah, what can Carolina apply to tonight's game that maybe they didn't last year? I'll ask you that same question. What do you see as the biggest miss last year that needs to be turned around tonight?
Well, you got to be able to answer a run. I mean, a team like UConn at some point is going to go on one of those big runs. You hope not too big, but they always do, right? This is what they do. And, they've won, 54 games in a row, and 53 of them have been by double figures. So they're beating a lot of people bad over the last year and a half. And you've got to be able to answer a run or keep that run to a minimum, right? If they go on a 8-0 run, okay, stop it there and answer with, back-to-back buckets or something like that. Because obviously, if UConn gets momentum, I'm not kidding. I've seen them this year go on runs of like 25, 30 points in a row where it gets to the point of, is there anybody even playing on the other side? So you got to minimize that run when they go on it, because they're going to go on a run at some point. They're just, they've got two of the best players in the country, as what that everybody knows about, AZ Fudd and Sarah Strong. At some point, they're going to get hot and hit a few buckets in a row, and if you don't answer, they're going to have their run. So to me, you got to answer the run and keep it to a minimum.
Brad Muller hanging out with us from Phoenix, talking Gamecocks women. Brad will be on the call at 6:30. Coverage starts on our sister station, B1067. All right, Brad, so when you look at their closest, there's only one game this year that was under double digits that UConn won. That was Michigan in late November, 72-69. In that game, UConn shot under 40% from the floor and turned it over 17 times. How does South Carolina look? UConn, they're human. They miss shots, but also Michigan tried to make them uncomfortable defensively as much as they could. Obviously, keeping them under 40% and forcing 17 turnovers. What's the path for South Carolina to follow that kind of script in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, so that's the interesting thing, because South Carolina is not a big pressing team. You can sit there and go, just throw a full court press at them. Well, it's not what we do a lot of. So you can't all of a sudden change who you are. But you've got to be able to do the simple things, like be able to change quickly, call out switches and things like that, to not allow their shooters to get practice shots. Because those players are good enough on their own. If you're not talking on defense and switching quickly when you need to, then all of a sudden you give their shooters open looks at the basket consistently, or you don't come around screens correctly, whether you're going below them or going above the screen. Then you're going to give them the shots they want. So it's really just a lot of basic things that just not a lot of people can do. And UConn will put the same pressure on you. They can put on a full court press against you as well and turn you over. Maybe that was something they were not able to do to Michigan to create those turnovers, because this is a UConn team that gets a lot of steals. I think they average about 16 steals per game, in addition to about 24 assists per game. But they get a lot of steals. So to me, the counter that is not give them those extra possessions through the turnovers, especially in the press. And that's something that that the Gamecocks have struggled with against teams like Texas and things like that, was sometimes just inbounding against the press. So to me, it's not so much what can South Carolina do to make them shoot less. It's to shoot at a lower percentages. Don't give them that many possessions by turning the ball over. To me, is the simplest thing, because one of the things that UConn does very well is turn people over.
Brad, let's go back to Agat McKeer. I'm far from alone in thinking that she has the ability to be the so-called X factor tonight, perhaps, for South Carolina. Dawn made mention in her presser yesterday that Agat has a lot of confidence in herself and shows it. I'll ask from your vantage point, we know she battled a couple of different injuries as a freshman, but we know she was highly touted, as most of Dawn's recruits are coming in, if not all. How have you seen her growth, and has any of what she's done thus far in this tournament been a surprise to those who see her more often than the fans do?
You know, it's funny. No, from the people that know her, no, they expected big things from her. And I remember when I first saw her, in the off season this year, I'm thinking, man, strong gust of wind's going to knock this young lady over because she's so thin. But she is very, very strong for her size, and she's just gotten a lot better. And the confidence that she has, she just flipped another switch when the NCAA tournament started, where it's as if she said, I'm not going to be intimidated by this. I'm just going to go play. And I think you're seeing that now, where she's playing. It looks like she's playing without thinking. She's just playing. Sometimes it can be overwhelming for freshmen when you're trying to remember all the things you're taught in practice and all that. But she's doing a great job of just playing on both ends of the floor. Whether it's, she's a tremendous defender. She's been getting steals, and then she's been doing good things with the basketball. I think you saw an extra little gear in that TCU game when she did that little spin move and ended up getting a layup when it seemed like the play was dead. And she's just all of a sudden got a lot of confidence that. But I know for a fact that coaches knew it was there. I mean, I can still remember, Coach in the off season or before the season started saying a lot of good things about her. That no, she's going to play right away. This isn't one where you have to sit there and say, all right, they're going to get through their freshman year, and next year they'll help us. No, she was one that she expected to make an impact right away, and obviously she has. All
right, Brad. We look at this lineup. Who has to have the game? Who has to have that game that if South Carolina wins, we look back and say, damn, they were money. Who has it got to be, Brad?
It's funny because it's been someone different throughout this tournament, for South Carolina. One night it's Joyce, one night it's Nia Latson, or one quarter it's Tessa Johnson. But for me, all year long, the straw that stirs the drink is Raven Johnson. It all starts with point guard play and what she's able to do in terms of whether it's getting a transition game going, running the offense, and locking down on defense. So to me, everything runs through Raven Johnson. Doesn't mean she's going to score 20 points because she doesn't do that. But it's in terms of her playing her best type of game on both ends of the floor. I think whether it's just running the offense, staying out of foul trouble, playing good defense, because a team like Connecticut's got so many weapons. I mean, the headliners, Strong and Fudd, but they've got other players, that transferred in there that were, first team All Big Ten team selections that are now, taking a back seat. But that's the kind of players they've got on UConn's lineup, like with Sarah Williams, who was an All Big Ten player at Wisconsin, and then Bianca Quinones is a freshman that's playing outstanding right now. She might be their little X factor in the NCAA tournament. She's had a hot hand. But to me, everything runs through Raven Johnson on both ends of the floor.
Hey, before we let you go, there is another game tonight. You're a women's basketball expert. Who you got in the UCLA Texas game?
Well, that I'm excited about that. I'm hoping we get to stick around to watch it if assuming we win, because UCLA personnel-wise, their 1 through 5 is one of the best in the country in terms of what they've got 1 through 5. But Texas might be playing better than anybody in the tournament right now. You can probably say since the SEC tournament. I don't know if anyone's playing better than Texas. Madison Booker and Rory Harmon. They were good to begin with, but it's as if they've got a freshness about them, and they just seem to be hitting their stride at the right time. So, I'm really not sure. I think UCLA has better personnel, but I just like the way Texas is playing right now. I think they could do it.
All right, Brad, but now DJ, and Brad doesn't know that. I know this. Not only does he have the lucky socks, he has a Gino Auriemma voodoo doll.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Just sticking little pins in his head.
Nice.
Feet. Yeah.
Whatever it takes, man.
That's right, man.
I'm doing my part.
All right, we appreciate you, my friend. 6:30.
Thank you, Brad. Have a great call, bud.
1067. Thanks, man.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, Brad Muller hanging out with us, being able to make a phone call. It's a good day.
Yeah.
It's a good day. All right, well, Pop, what do you want to talk about next? We got Cloninger at 4:30.
Well, we got David coming up in a bit. We do have a men's Final Four to get to, so we can get into some of that on the other side.
Let's jump on that.
I am looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Post-game show, Jay and Terry on the Game Network, at the Game TV Radio on YouTube.
All my sports. The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 96.9 The Game in Charleston. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
The Game phone lines at 803-404-6100. Sponsored by AAA Heating and Air. Now offering 12-month payment plans on all HVAC or electrical repairs with no credit check. Online at callAAAtoday.com. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com.
Hey guys, Jay Phillips here for our good friends at Integrated Media. Listen, no matter what you need when it comes to home theater, the guys at Integrated have you covered. It really is that simple. 803-948-8327. You dream it. They come out to the house. They walk around with you. They design it. They install it. Next thing you know, you have years and years and years of fine family entertainment. Now you say, Jay, I don't really want to do it inside. I want to go outside. I love what I have inside, but now I want to enjoy South Carolina weather while I watch a ball game or my favorite movie. Ha! You can do that too. Amazing outdoor equipment built to be out there 24/7, 365, even in the South Carolina weather, no matter the time of year. They can get that done for you, too. Plus, they're taking care of you with golf simulation at Pro Swing, which is so much fun, both the Chapin and Forest Acres locations. They're ready to make everything you do a whole lot better. And they make house calls. 803-948-8327. Do what I've done. Live better with Integrated Media.
Sponsored by SC Education Lottery. Did you know that since 2002, more than 2.8 million lottery-funded scholarships such as the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow scholarships have been awarded to South Carolina students? Playing for fun is a win for education. Visit SCEducationLottery.com/educationwins for more information.
Hey, this is Terry Ford. Got a little story time for you. If you're a business or property owner and you're needing to deter any unwanted cars from parking in your parking lots, definitely call Schroeder's Towing. They'll provide signage for your business completely free of charge. Anytime a vehicle is parked in your lot that shouldn't be, Schroeder's Towing will be there to make sure your lot stays open for your employees, customers, and tenants. Trust me, I know firsthand what happens when you ignore Schroeder's Towing signage. Just go online at schroederstowing.net.
Just dial pound 250 and use the keyword tow truck.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
The one and only Monster Jam. Big air, backflips, and all-out racing. See the world's best drivers tear up the dirt in your favorite Monster Jam trucks. The fun begins at the pit party, where you can meet the drivers, get autographs, take pictures, and see the trucks up close. Must have valid event ticket to enter pit party. Restrictions may apply. Rules and activities are subject to change. Visit website for event details. Coming to Colonial Life Arena April 18th and 19th.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
When my wife and I got married after both graduating law school, we didn't have two nickels to rub together. Ultima had to give me her gas card just to drive home. We never could have imagined that one day we would have the largest injury firm in the world and $25 billion in money collected and counting. As good Catholics, we had 4 children fast. They all work in the firm today. Our family protecting yours. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan, but our greatest gift was years away, grandchildren. Today we have 6 and counting. It's the greatest joy that we have ever experienced. I think about them all day long. Our family promises to protect your family should you need us. Call us. It's easy. Visit forthepeople.com and make sure you hug your grandchildren. God's final gift to us. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Average Amy's. Our coffee has caffeine and our muffins are cooked.
You're not average. Your marketing results shouldn't be either. Cumulus Digital outperforms industry benchmarks by over 25%. Visit cumulusdigital.com to start outperforming today.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia, The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass.
The Postgame Show with Jay Phillips and Terry Ford on the Game Network, the 1075 The Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
Decided last year when my alma mater came open that no matter what you said, it could be misinterpreted, and so I'm forever going to not comment on any job that's not mine. I'm incredibly happy and honored and blessed to be the coach at Michigan in the Final Four, representing this amazing university and athletic department, but I'll never comment on a job.
There you go. There's Dusty May denying. Yes, just I'm not going to comment on any job. Dusty May, the Michigan head coach of the Final Four.
Long ways to do it, too. But.
Yeah. You know what? I said this yesterday. No matter what, and he said it, and I agree, no matter what you say, there's going to be a faction that's going to turn it and twist it. There's just, no matter what.
Yeah, they'll twist it.
I mean,
sure.
You can't win. When you're the guy that's being rumored for gigs and you have to get in front of the media while that gig's still out there and you're still doing yours and whatever, there's just no answer's ever going to make everybody happy. It's not. And so you can't win.
Well, yeah, and for those who missed the story earlier, Tommy Lloyd, the head coach of Arizona, announced today himself that he has signed a 5-year extension. But basically, I think they kind of ripped it up, Terry, if I understand it right. It's just a new 5-year deal that'll keep him at Arizona through 2031. It's going to definitely give him a bump in pay. And like you said, I'm sure there are things that may not be directly in the contract, but that are some guarantees from the administration on making sure that the NIL budget remains where it needs to be to continue to get the kind of talent that they have right now, because they are loaded. So it looks like Tommy Lloyd is out of the North Carolina job running. Dusty May probably still in. Again, is Brad Underwood somebody that North Carolina would want to talk to? I don't know. I don't know. We keep hearing the name Mark Byington at Vandy as the fallback.
Yeah.
For North Carolina.
A coach. I really like.
And is there someone else that we're not thinking of, or that hasn't been mentioned? A lot of people will want to coach North Carolina.
Yes.
And I get it. And like I said earlier to you too, man, I'm not here to sing the praises or defend North Carolina basketball. They don't need it. But maybe almost in spite of some of the things Hubert did or didn't do, they've been pretty good. They could be better. They absolutely could be better. And this year's loss to VCU was embarrassing. There's no other way to put it. But Hubert did play for a title, even if that was his first year, and you could say that was Roy's holdovers. But Roy played for 4 championships, right, and won 3 of them. North Carolina basketball is still going to be – I think now they finally understand, too, Terry, that they've got to play in today's world. And when I say play, I mean with the off-court stuff to make the on-court stuff a whole lot better. And, they're embroiled right now up in Chapel Hill on whether to spend hundreds of millions to renovate the Dean Dome
or move it,
or to spend hundreds of millions to build a new facility about a mile from campus. I don't think there's any interest in playing in Carmichael for a couple of years and tearing the Dean Dome down to build on that site. So because I think that would just be too much of a loss in revenue unless you charge people, $400 a game to go see them play in Carmichael.
Right.
So I guess they're probably not going to do that. Yeah, you might. I don't know. You might. Right? You might. They'll call it the nostalgia tour at Carmichael, but. I don't know. But anyway, that's going to be one of the storylines of the weekend. Beyond that, Illinois, Connecticut, and then maybe the game of the century in some people's mind, Arizona and Michigan. And again, I think according to Ken Pom, the Arizona-Michigan game is one of the top 5 games of this century in terms of matchups. So it's going to be that good.
By the way, Ken Pom has it Arizona 80, Michigan 79 in their predictor.
Well, I got Michigan winning the championship. That was my bracket pick. So I have this Arizona-Michigan matchup. I don't have the other two. Again, I went all chalk. I went all ones in both tournaments in my and I didn't really mean to, Terry, because it's not how I necessarily go about it, but it just ended up being that way. And Florida losing early I didn't see coming, and then Duke, I was like, well, Duke's going to make it, right?
Yeah,
Duke's going to make it. Duke's fine. Duke's a little closer now. Oh, no, but Duke's still going to. Oh my God, Duke's not going to make it.
They're up 19.
Then they're up. They're up 9. Well, they're up 7. They're fine. And they're up 5. That's still a 2-possession game. Well, now it's down to 2. Well, guess what?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, but I don't know, man. I got no real feeling one way or another on either game tomorrow. I just, the way the 4 schools are playing and the 2 matchups, I don't know that any one in those games has an edge over the other. Is Illinois playing better basketball than Connecticut? Does Connecticut ride a wave of just euphoria by what they did to Duke? And again, the Arizona-Michigan matchup feels like, Ali Frazier or something. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
I've had 3 of them. I had UConn, Michigan, and Arizona, and I had Houston. But I had Duke losing to St. John's because I just thought Duke was injured in some key spots, and I thought the injuries would catch up with them. But that's
Johnny's gave him a game, man. That was a great game.
That was a hell of a game. But I had Duke losing to St. John's at 16, and I had Duke blowing a 19-point lead in that game. No, anyway, I think. Look, I had Duke getting knocked out. Just I thought they had 2 key injuries. I had UConn making it through there just because the culture of UConn, and obviously they're very talented. Their offense was a little clunky, but their defense was phenomenal. I had Houston as my other team, and I had Houston beating UConn and then Houston getting beat by Arizona. But I'm not going to lie to you, man. I sat there and stared at the Arizona-Michigan bracket, and you could make a case for both all day. I guess the reason I took I took Arizona, is they played a lot of really good teams, like top 30 Ken Pom teams this year, and they whooped pretty much all of them. And their schedule was tougher because, again, the Big 12 had a lot of, the top level of the Big 12 was a lot of, I'm not going to say elite, but very good basketball teams.
Well, Big 12 is loaded, man.
So that I took Arizona just because they've beaten a lot of excellent competition. I think they're a little bit more. Both teams are really balanced, but I think Arizona's got a little bit more depth to come at you than Michigan. But look, I could sit here and make a case for Michigan winning just as easy. That game, I'm going to be really disappointed, Jay, if that's not a hell of a basketball game with those two.
Yeah,
squads.
If one of those teams ends up beating the other one badly, that's what I want that game to come down to the last minute. And I feel like, again, I think both these games are going to. But the way Illinois is playing, I don't want to contradict myself here, but there's a part of me, Terry, that just thinks the way Illinois is playing,
good man.
They're going to get to Monday night.
They could. Their biggest problem, Jay, looking over their season, they were like 5-5 down the stretch, and they really struggled defensively against good teams. But they got in this NCAA tournament, and I don't know if Brad Underwood blackmailed them, threatened them. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden they found their defensive grit again because they're arguably the best offensive team in America because they play interesting with what they have. The freshman, the guard is excellent three-point shooter. They got some Eastern European guys that are highly skilled. So offensively, they are by efficiency the best offense in America. Defense, they kind of went to sleep at the end of the year, but they're guarding people now, man. They're an offensive rebounding machine. Would it surprise me if they beat Connecticut? Not at all. This is an interesting Final Four. Both games, Jay, whoever wins, you don't go, wow, I didn't see that coming.
No, I agree.
It's just really well balanced, these two games.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about it.
By the way, so is America. The ratings are gigantic. It's
through the roof, man.
Almost
19 million people watch Duke UConn. 19 million.
It's been almost back to the old days level of watching the NCAA tournament.
I think it's the most watched tournament in terms of overall viewership and average viewership since 1993.
Yeah, man.
That's amazing.
That's back with
amazing.
The Fab Five, Christian Laettner era, North Carolina, all those teams.
Yeah.
It's been a good tournament, some great moments, buzzer beaters. A lot of games were close. You got these two super teams going at it in the one side of the bracket, and on the other side you got two teams. One, its culture and its grit got it where it was, and the other one is just playing its tail off right now. This is going to be fun, man. I'm going to enjoy Saturday. There's no doubt.
Yep, no doubt.
All right, let's get that Cloninger guy, and let's hear him say something good about the Braves. Okay, ready? You and me, let's bet.
He has to.
All right, let's bet.
He has to.
Let's bet. What will he say good about the Braves?
Well, they scored 17 runs last night, and he was there. Again, I don't know what he'll say, but he has to say something.
Is he going to say the Braves' offense was great or the Diamondbacks' pitching stunk?
Well,
all right, let's go with that one. Which way is he going to go?
He may give a nod to Diamondback pitching. Yeah, we'll see.
Our boy David Cloninger next here on the Postgame Show on The Game live from Phoenix. It's 107.5 The Game Network, and at The Game TV radio on YouTube.
Wow, what a play! The Game Network, Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
We have a new way for you to call the AAA Heating and Air phone lines. Just dial pound 250, and when prompted, punch in the keywords, The Game. And that's it. Again, pound 250 with the keywords, The Game.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text HIM to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text HIM to 215-215. That's HIM to 215-215. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Paid for by Adaptive Health.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing, and for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Hey guys, Wes Mitchell from Gamecock Central here to make sure your business and property parking lots are kept available from any unwanted cars taking up your spots with Schroeder's Towing. For instance, you're coming in hot to the game studios for your show and you park next door in an unauthorized lot with signage that was provided for free from Schroeder's Towing. Next thing you know, the show is in the books and your car is out of the lot. It really is that simple. That's a true story. Call Schroeder's today and keep those unwanted cars out of your lots. Online at schroederstowing.net.
Just dial pound 250 and use the keyword tow truck.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
Bill Gunner for AAA Heating and Air. The spring is here. Dust, pollen, spring cleaning, all those important things. But have you even thought about the air quality inside your home? How are those air ducts holding up? Well, AAA Heating and Air is ready to help you. Visit them on the website. Call AAAtoday.com. Again, that's call AAAtoday.com. Call AAA Heating and Air and tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
Everybody loves streaming till you have to pay for it. Just download the 107.5 The Game app and stream us for free. It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow or even free signage for your lot. Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
Our first check on the traffic this afternoon, as long as the fancy computer refreshes for us. So far, good news. No accidents, just all the typical road construction around the Midlands. I-20 between Sunset Boulevard and Bush River Road, exit 61 to 63. I-26 between Bush River Road, exit 108A, and Old Sandy Run Road, exit 125. Also McNulty Street between Blythewood Road and Main Street, and Broad River Road between I-26 and Dutch Fork Road. David Cloninger, our buddy from the Post and Courier from Phoenix, covering the women against UConnl tonight. Next here on the Postgame Show.
Postgame Show with Jay Phillips and Terry Ford on the Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube.
Postgame show through the 4 o'clock hour on Friday. Texas and South Carolina tonight. Gamecocks, of course, smacked the Longhorns last night 9-1. 6:45, we get everything started here on the Game in Columbia and Myrtle Beach. 7 o'clock first pitch. The women and UConnl in the Final Four tonight on our sister station B106. Everything gets rolling there with Brad and Ed. 6:30 coverage, 7 o'clock tip. Speaking of those women in Phoenix, let's get our buddy David Cloninger here with the Post and Courier. All right, man, forget this basketball stuff. You went and saw your Braves last night. 17-2.
Well, they knew I was in attendance, and they didn't need to risk making me any more angry than I am on any given day. So they decided to show up, and a good time was in. I said, well done, boys. Only got to do that 155 more times, and we won't have a problem.
Okay, David, Braves offense, great, or Diamondbacks pitching, awful? Which one you going with?
I would think that it's kind of in the middle there, with it leaning toward the Diamondbacks pitching being awful. It was so bad last night that they brought in their catcher to pitch the ninth. And he was just, throwing batting practice up there, just lobbing it over the plate.
He got tattooed, man.
Yeah. I mean, you get Moreno to hit a 2-run dinger off of you. It's like, okay. But that was the case. If it's early in the year, we don't want to burn another arm, so let's just go ahead and do what we can here.
Well, I did. To let everybody know, I texted David, I forget, about an hour before first pitch. I'm not even sure exactly what time it was. And I said, please tell me you're going to this baseball game tonight. And about 2 or 3 minutes later, I get a texted picture, no caption, just a texted picture of Dave and a few of the traveling crew enjoying an adult beverage and getting ready for the ball game in their Braves gear. So I knew things were in good hands at that point. Now, yeah, like David said, just go do it again. And David, like my mama would have said, they need to save some of those runs for the next time. So I don't know how much of that can be applied to the rest of the weekend, but we'll see.
I'm just hoping. I mean, the last 3 Braves games that I have attended, not only have they won them all, the combined score of those 3 games was 31-2.
Wow.
So someone needs to come up with an excuse or get that stat to the Braves, because obviously I'm the good luck charm, and I need to be in every park for the rest of the season.
All right, everybody text in your excuse for David or your reasons for David to the Firehouse Subs text line.
Well,
Let's see what we can
David,
do.
I'm sure, as much as you love your job, that if the Braves put together a nice compensation package of salary and incentives and benefits and places to stay and all these other things for you to go town to town to go to every Braves game because you are the official good luck charm, I'm sure you would highly consider that offer.
I would highly consider it, but we're also going to have to build in a lot of pain and suffering. Let's go ahead and start with the years 1985 through 1990. I need some back pay for having to sit through those when I was still an innocent child. And how can we be this possibly bad? But,
yeah, see, I'm a little older than David. Those were my, I guess, middle turning into high school years, and it was not a lot of fun for me either. Plus, we might need to compensate Mrs. Cloninger for that much travel, considering how much David is already gone, and the little guy. So we shall see. All right, DC, let's turn our attention to tonight. And I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked our first 2 guests, Elijah Campbell and Brad Muller. The lesson from last year, in your opinion. Again, you see these women play basketball a lot. You get to go see them in practice a lot. You talk to Dawn a lot. What do you believe they most need to apply from looking at last year to looking to tonight in order to be successful?
Well, Jay, it's going to start on defense. I mean, last year they kind of knew that it's like, hey, listen, if you stop Sarah Strong, you're going to have AZ Fudd. And if you stop AZ Fudd, you're going to have Paige Beckers. And if you stop Paige Beckers, you still got to worry about the other 2. So there you start getting into which head of the hydra do you cut off. And you just know that there's going to be somebody else to take their place, and they just couldn't do it. They ran out of gas. And this year you don't have that. but I think that USC's defense is a little bit better as well. So the main thing is to come out there and start throwing a look at Strong or Fudd, either one of them, and start rotating that look and say, okay, this is what it's going to be, and then you got to start making your shots. But it's all going to start on defense. And, you know, that's going to be Raven Johnson's forte. I guarantee you she'll be the first one to take Strong tonight, and, you know, they'll see how that goes.
David Cloninger with us from Post and Courier live from Phoenix, getting ready for tonight's Final Four contest, South Carolina and UConn. Post-game show with Jay and Terry here on the Game Network. David, we've seen a little bit of this zone defense through the year that Dawn has thrown out. Would you be surprised if you saw it a little bit tonight in strategic spots in this basketball game?
Oh, not at all. I mean, it's really, I won't say it's become a staple, but it's gone from one of those things like, you know, I might break this out every 5 games just to do it and see if it works. It's become even more of it's not even an emergency option anymore. It's kind of like, okay, if these 3 sets don't work, we're going to go to the zone. It's become very high up on the list of things to call, which I never thought I would say about a Dawn Staley coach team. I mean, that woman treats a 2-3 zone, you know, like most people treat the Christmas socks that you get. You just kind of stuff it away and say, like, I'll bring that out for next year's party, you know. So, but she's had to do it, and, you know, just because the roster has been so thin, the bench has been so thin all year, where you can do it to save some legs. And if they can do that tonight and it's working, well, it's like the Tennessee game. They went to it early. Tennessee didn't know what hit it, and Dawn said, I'm not stubborn enough to stop something I don't like doing because it's working. I'm going to keep going with it. So we'll have to see if it works, but I would anticipate it making an appearance tonight.
DC, we saw Tessa Johnson go scoreless for 3 quarters and then blow up in the 4th quarter the other night with 11 points, some big threes, got her 1,000th career point. In your estimation, how important is it to get her going earlier? I know there are others that can make some of those shots, and we've seen some of that, but, you know, I mean, she's made some big-time shots in her 3 years in this tournament. Is it important that she has a 4-quarter game?
No, absolutely. But the main thing, too, that what made Tessa's performance out the other night, Tania Latson had really cooled off from a 28-point outburst against Oklahoma as well. So there weren't a lot of, you know, what they normally get, and they ended up, you know, hey, it all worked out in the 4th quarter. You know, Tessa has gone from I don't like the tournament Tessa nickname to I do like the tournament Tessa nickname. That game I called her Novocaine because, hey, it's going to work. You just got to wait for it a little bit. So, but, of course, Jay, you don't want to get too far behind this group. You do not want to get down in 9-10 points against UConn because you're just not going to come back. My good friend Corey Diaz termed them the boa constrictors because they just, once they get ahead of you, they just start circling you and squeezing the life out of you. So as long as USC can stay even with them, they're going to have a shot. And Tessa Johnson making shots early is a big part of staying even with them.
You know, we got David Cloninger with us, Post and Courier live from Phoenix, getting ready for the women's Final Four tonight, South Carolina, UConn here on the post-game show on the game. David, one of the biggest differences from last year this year is Medina Okot and what she can do. I think probably take away that Oklahoma game was probably like, remember she was going through an adjustment period, whatever it was, and she just was scuffling a little bit. But since that Oklahoma game, for the most part, she not only has scored in the paint, she's also popping some threes every now and then if you leave her open. How important is Okot in this game? We're talking about a lot of perimeter players, right? How important is Okot to maybe establish something down low for South Carolina?
It's huge, just because Connecticut doesn't really have a dominant center. You know, they'll roll Fudd in there, and Strong will even play it on occasion, but they're not going to stand in there and stand the ground and try to block your shot. They're much more of a roving, rush-to-the-ball kind of defensive team. So the main thing is just for Okot to stand her ground defensively. You know, try to get some fouls on Fudd, as tough as that's going to be. Try to get a foul on Strong if she comes into the paint, as tough as that's going to be. But the main thing, got to score. If you're going to be the focal point of this offense, you've got to score. And she's been having some trouble lately with that. Maybe it's just the fact it's a long season, but it's one of those like, look, cannot be having this hold the ball up top and dribble for a while because that's just going to be a turnover. And once you get the ball in the paint, for goodness sakes, put it right back up. Just put it right back up. None of this head fake, none of that. Put it right back up. So we'll see. I mean, and the main thing is, like, look, what's done is done. You can't erase the past, and you played pretty good all year. You got to be elite tonight.
David, less than a minute to go, so real quick, Joyce Edwards. What does UConn do to negate her? What does Carolina do if UConn is somewhat successful in that?
They'll try to surround her and knock the ball loose just because in a crowd, Joyce still has a tendency to bring the ball down and hold it on her waist, and that's just not going to work well. They've got too many long arms to knock the ball loose. So that's also going to be a case of, like, Joyce, if you get it, do something quick with it. Either pass, drive, shoot, whatever, but do something quick.
Yeah. Great stuff, man. And, hopefully you get to hang around and maybe you can go to the Braves D-backs game tomorrow and score some more runs.
Well, I put in a call, so we'll see what's happening.
Maybe you and your buddy.
I made sure I got a clean shirt left.
You and your buddy Alex can hang out.
Yeah,
Talk
we'll
some
see what
baseball.
happens.
All right, thanks, DC.
Thanks, DC.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
All right, we'll come back here. We'll do a little Jay or Nay on the post-game show. Jay and Terry here on the game.
All my sports. The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 96.9 The Game in Charleston. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
If the Gamecocks hit a grand slam, you can win cash. It's the Crescent Construction Grand Slam Giveaway. If the Gamecocks don't hit a grand slam, the pot goes up $25 a game. Just go to 1075thegame.com to register.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
The Final Four is upon us tomorrow night. People seem to think that the second matchup of the night is the de facto national championship between number one seeds Michigan and Arizona. But let's not count out the winner of UConn and Illinois. Illinois boasts the most efficient offense in college basketball, and you can never discount a team that has Dan Hurley as their head coach. Illinois or UConn should put up a fight against Michigan or Arizona. I'm Adam Abdallah.
Chumba Casino brings non-stop fun straight to your screen. Anytime, anywhere. Explore hundreds of games like slots, blackjack, and instant scratch-style cards. Sign up to unlock your free welcome bonus and daily login bonuses. And enjoy your chance at exciting prizes without spending a thing. Just click, play, and enjoy the ride. Sponsored by VGW Group. No purchase necessary. See terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Must be over 21 and present in a state where it's legal to play.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Veterans and active duty service members, when your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait, and don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-608-0955. 800-608-0955. 800-608-0955.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com. The Postgame Show with Jay Phillips and Terry Ford on the Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube. Let's do some Jay or Nay. It's the Postgame Show on the Game Network.
Some Jay or Nay coming up here in a second. Now, we said tonight we have Carolina and Texas. Gamecock baseball here on the Game in Columbia and our affiliate in Myrtle Beach. The third game of this series tomorrow, 1:45 coverage gets started. And, of course, Carolina winning Game 1 last night 9-1, looking to win an SEC series for the first time all year. All right, get a little Jay or Nay in here, Jay Phillips, as soon as I get our cool little music. And you find that here real fast. All right. What was the last Braves road game you went to?
I'm trying to. I've never been to a Braves road game.
Never?
I've only been to Braves games in Atlanta. Yeah, I've never seen the Braves on the road.
I know if you pulled a David Cloninger and went to a game.
No, I've never. Because the only time, you know what, Terry? We were in Washington about 6 years ago, and we were going to go against the Nats, and it rained.
Oh, see?
And it rained. Yeah. That's we didn't buy tickets because we were told we didn't really need to. But it rained, and we did not get to go. We were in D.C. and did not get to go. So that's the only time that I've even remotely come close to a Braves road game. I've been to Atlanta a bunch, but I've never seen them on the road.
All right, just want to see. Just checking on you.
But now that I have another child getting ready to go back to the University of Maryland, I'll have 4 more years of opportunity to go see him play in D.C.
There you go. Look at you. All right, little Jay or Nay. Here we go. All right, Jay or Nay. Following Friday's reversal of his campus ban after his recent arrest, Alabama basketball player Aiden Holloway is planning to enroll in fall classes when to rejoin the team for next season, pending the outcome of his legal case. If you're Nate Oates, not what Nate Oates would do, what Jay Phillips would do if he was the head coach at Alabama. Aiden Holloway on your basketball team next year, Jay or Nay?
Nay. He's not on my basketball team. Nay. Nate Oates is going to let him play as long. Again, I think you gave us the biggest caveat of all there, pending the outcome of his legal case. He'll have some really good attorneys attempting to help him out here, but Terry, he's in real trouble, man. Again, he didn't have 2 ounces of pot. He had 2 pounds of pot. That's a whole different animal, man. And I don't know, but he's I mean, I hope the best for the kid. But yeah, again, playing sports at a high level in this country like that is a privilege, and I think you got to earn those things. But that's just me.
All right, Jay or Nay? Cam Boozer named the Player of the Year in college basketball. Got 59 of the 61
AP Player of the Year.
Player of the Year. Yep.
Yeah, AP Player of the Year. I'll admit, I voted him number 1. I'm a Wooden Award voter, and I got to put those in 2 weeks ago. I voted him number 1 on that. I think it's him. I think the season he had, he's deserving. And I know he's got name recognition and school recognition, but he did it night in and night out, man. Kid at BYU was great. Kid at Michigan was great. Kid at Arkansas, Acuff was great. I think Boozer was better. Maybe not by a lot, but I'm a J on that one. Yeah, that's where I was.
The problem with a lot of this stuff at times is because, the national media, who doesn't cover college basketball, the first thing they say, well, what's he going to be like in the NBA? Nobody cares. This is about what Cam Boozer did at Duke in his freshman season. This isn't about his draft projections or whatever. This is about what he did at Duke. He had a hell of a year, man.
He dominated. And everybody knew that he was, everybody knew who to go try and stop. Can't stop him.
No, he was phenomenal for Duke. All right, get you a little J or Nay action in here. Fred Hoiberg, Nebraska head coach, named AP Coach of the Year. We J or Nay on Hoiberg?
I haven't put much thought in this one. I get it. So I guess, and I look, I don't know. Look, I admit I got this weird thing going in my own mind against Nebraska these days. I probably shouldn't. They haven't done anything to me. I mean, look, as somebody who went to South Carolina and pulls for South Carolina, I think I remember the games back in the 80s when I was in high school. But, like, since then, the only two times I think that it's mattered, Carolina beat Nebraska in the College World Series and Carolina beat Nebraska in the Citrus Bowl. So they haven't done anything to me. I like Fred Hoiberg. He did good things at Iowa State, didn't work out in the NBA. To bring Nebraska into the fold of college basketball, that's a thing. So, sure. Jay, way to go, Fred. Way to go, Fred.
By the way, how funny is it? Indiana's a football school, Nebraska's a basketball school.
Yeah. I'd like to see Indiana get back to being a basketball school. Indiana's going to get back to a basketball school before Nebraska gets back to a football school.
I'm Jay on that with you. Jay.
Yeah.
Jay.
Yeah.
All right, my man. Good work. Get a nap. We'll talk to you. I'll talk to you on Tuesday.
Yes, you'll be away Monday, so I'll have things late. I'll make sure things are held down on Monday, at least as far as you know.
As far as I know. All right, enjoy your weekend, my friend. We'll see you.
Thanks,
now.
bud. You too.
All right, bud. We'll see you. All right, 5 o'clock news sponsored by Integrated Media next on the Postgame Show.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com.
Sponsored by SC Education Lottery. Did you know that since 2002, more than 2.8 million lottery-funded scholarships such as the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow scholarships have been awarded to South Carolina students? Playing for fun is a win for education. Visit SCEducationLottery.com/educationwins for more information.
Plus tax entitled with approved credit. Call 888-320-6359 for details. At JT's Jeep Ram, the savings are already built in. You can see for yourself online the deep discounts we offer on new Wranglers, Grand Cherokees, Rams, and more. No guessing or games, just real savings. Clearly displayed on our website. And if you've got a trade, JT is offering up to 25% more for it. JT's Jeep Ram, 378 Lexington or Greystone Boulevard. JT'sJeep.com or JT'sRam.com. Declaration of Deal Sales Event.
You could file your taxes on a basic free service, which is fine. But are you okay with fine? Because when it's your money on the line, you really want to guess if you missed a credit or hope the math is right. Get the confidence of TurboTax for free right on the Intuit Credit Karma app. Free Fed and free state for simple 1040s only. Around 37% of filers qualify. See details at turbotax.com/free. No schedules except for EITC, CTC, student loan interest, and Schedule 1A.
The one and only Monster Jam. Big air, backflips, and all-out racing. See the world's best drivers tear up the dirt in your favorite Monster Jam trucks. The fun begins at the pit party, where you can meet the drivers, get autographs, take pictures, and see the trucks up close. Must have valid event ticket to enter pit party. Restrictions may apply. Rules and activities are subject to change. Visit website for event details. Coming to Colonial Life Arena April 18th and 19th.
Massive insurance companies may want to keep you from getting what you deserve after a car wreck. Don't let them. I'm Michael Jeffcoat, and my team is right here in South Carolina to fight for you. For over 26 years, we've helped your neighbors recover millions. We know the law, the system, and what it takes to win around here. And remember, no recovery, no fee. That's my promise to you. Call 803-200-2000 for a free consultation. The Jeffcoat Firm. You deserve better, so call us.
Responsible attorney Michael Jeffcoat, 1333 Main Street, Columbia.
Email hijacking and ransomware are on the rise, and they're targeting your business. Once your data is out there, there's no fix, no reset. Do you know where your business is vulnerable right now? Find out with a cybersecurity audit from IntelliSystems. IntelliSystems is one of the few firms worldwide that's GTIA Cybersecurity Trustmark Assured, meaning the highest global standards. They find gaps before criminals do. Schedule your audit now. IntelliSystems.com.
Hate paying for streaming? Well, the 107.5 The Game app is free. Yes, free. Just download the 107.5 The Game app. It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow or even free signage for your lot? Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
let's get the traffic real quick. No accidents to talk about right now, thank goodness. Again, we have construction around the area like always, so take your time. Be patient, move around it. And the fact it's Good Friday, maybe a little less traffic on the road, but still, besides that, accidents, zero. Nice work. 5 o'clock news next from Integrated Media.
Your home for the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game. WNKT Eastover, Columbia. A Cumulus media station. Checking out what's up in the world of sports.
This just in, breaking news is breaking out everywhere.
The 5 o'clock news on the postgame show.
If you're just joining us, I'm covering some breaking news. You know news is breaking because I'm telling you so, and I might touch my earpiece like this.
Sponsored by Integrated Media, Columbia's premier home theater and security experts for over 20 years. On the Game Network and on 107.5, the Game app.
Integrated Media here on the postgame show. All right, tonight, obviously, we've got Final Four basketball. South Carolina, UConn, on our sister station, B106, 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock tip from Phoenix. Dawn Staley talking to the media. Let's start off with Dawn discussing her history facing Gino Auriemma.
I'll say that, UConn has been the standard in women's basketball for a very long time, and everyone has to measure up to their standard. I think they allow us something to reach for, and when you have a traditionally rich program like that, I think it helps us all grow. It helps us all try to game plan and figure out ways to just measure ourselves up to them and then possibly beat them. And then to be able to do that over a period of time, it's almost impossible. But it's incredible the standard that they have had for the past 40 years.
Yeah, look, UConn, say what you want about Gino. They've been the gold standard for a long time. Right now you have obviously Dawn Staley in South Carolina, and yes, Gamecocks lost to the Huskies twice last year, once in the championship game, once here at CLA. Both losses weren't close. But before that, it felt like that Dawn and South Carolina had passed UConn. They kind of had their way with the Huskies in recent years, won a championship by beating Connecticut. And it felt like, okay, got past that ginormous King Kong hurdle. And, well, then Gino said, no, you forget who we are. But you have South Carolina, you have UConn. And if you look at longevity the last decade, we're seeing these two programs, and they've kind of separated themselves a bit. Now, is Texas good this year? Sure. Were they good last year? Yep. Absolutely. UCLA, back-to-back Final Fours. So there are other really good programs, but if we're talking about, big picture longevity, UConn's the gold standard. Obviously, Tennessee went on a gigantic run with Pat Summitt. Baylor for a bit with Kim Mulkey. But now it's South Carolina as, sitting in the car next to UConn. All right, here's Dawn also discussing, Raven Johnson's evolution as a player over these last so many years, as a leader, as a more consistent offensive threat, running the show from the point. Raven Johnson has just gotten better and better every year. And here's Dawn Staley talking about the evolution of Raven.
Yeah, Raven was just really, and still is, unserious. Right? But when it's time to elevate in regards to winning, she takes on this like narrow-mindedness of only seeing things that will help winning. And like she said, she will say it. I mean, she did it. I watched her from afar, and just take each and every player. Joyce, I think I said this in Sacramento. Joyce was shooting on the rims, and they seemed tight. And she had a negative comment about the rims, and then Raven's like, she tapped her, because that's what Raven does, tilted her head, and she was like, the rims are great. You got to think positive, just say positive things about it. And it was just very small interaction that I was on the sideline, I watched it. And then one of our staff members overheard her just have a conversation with one of our players. And she just verbatim, Raven, player, and their reactions. Raven just, asked her if she was ready. And she said, mm-hmm. And so this I'm reading, how it was written to me, texted me. And Raven said, you didn't look like it, right? And she said, we need you. And the player said, okay. I mean, it is those type of instances where she probably would have never said that years ago. She would not have said it. But just probably in the past 2 Final Fours, you see more and more. Like, I see more and more of that. This particular Final Four, because they're younger. They don't know. They need her guidance, and she's only going by, her winning compass, and she's going to point them in the right direction.
Very deep dive on Raven. And I like the 2 stories that Dawn told about, Raven talking about, rims are fine. Don't worry about the rims. Rims are good. Think positive. We're going to be okay. Because sometimes that happens. You get tight rims and you're shooting, the ball is in and out. You take a shot in and out. You're like, man, those rims are tight. That stinks. But Raven's like, no, the rims are fine. We're fine. We're good. Think positive. You don't have to worry about the rim if it's going all net. So then Raven talking to another player about being ready. That's the leadership stuff that we don't get to see behind the curtain. And that's a kind of, because look, I think Shane said this. Gamecock head coach Shane Beamer said this with Jay and I on Wednesday, talking about, really good teams, the locker room is led by the players, not the coaches. And it's true. It's players that lead a lot of championship locker rooms. And when you have a player, when we talk about all the players from 2 years ago with the Gamecocks, you look at Gamecocks basketball, women's basketball, and you see like a Raven Johnson being there for all these years. She now is comfortable in her own skin to stand up and say, hey, no, are you ready? We need you to be ready. You don't look ready. We need you ready. Let's go. Got to be ready. Rims are fine. Don't worry about the rims. We're good. Think positive. That's leadership, and that's the kind of things that with certain players, it just adds something that there's no stat sheet, no number, no analytic can quantify what that means to a team. Because, again, this game, we say it a lot on this show, this game is still played by human beings. Last time I checked, human beings can be emotional. And, that thing above your neck can be very powerful in how you think and react and feel and play. So leadership matters, especially quality veteran leadership at this moment when you're, playing for the right to move on and then throw the ball up to maybe win a national championship. All right, let's get one more from Dawn real quick on the 5 o'clock news, sponsored by our Buds Integrated Media. Here's her message to players who have not played yet in a Final Four.
Yeah, that's hard, but I think the language Raven was speaking was we've always said bring your practice habits to the game. There will probably, there'll probably be some adrenaline flowing real high for Tanaya and some of the other players that haven't been in a situation. But when the game settles down, that's when your habits will actually come to fruition. I mean, there will be some highs, right, in the beginning. But then, whether you get a bucket whether you turn the ball over, it will jolt you into being present where you are, and hopefully those habits start taking over, and then we play like we played all season long.
And I mean, that's the thing. It's like you start playing, all of a sudden you forget you're at the Final Four, forget about the crowd, forget about everything. You start playing, just playing ball. And again, 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock. The tip on our sister station, B1067, South Carolina and UConn. I wrote down a few things, just scribbling on little notes about keys to this game. Again, the 2 losses South Carolina had to UConn last year and against a different team, but still, in both instances, South Carolina shot under 40% from the floor. Obviously, you got to shoot better. You can't be UConn shooting under 40%. Flip side is, in Connecticut's closest game this year, Michigan, where the Huskies only won by 3, it's their only single-digit win of the year. Connecticut struggled shooting the ball themselves. They shot under 40%. And they turned the ball over 17 times in that game. So if you were South Carolina, again, you don't play the same defensive style as Michigan, but you've got to make UConn as uncomfortable as possible. Throw them off their rhythm. Get them rush their shots a little bit. Like Elijah talks about, run them off the three-point line, force them to shoot twos. By the way, they're excellent in close twos, and they're good at like mid-range twos. But if they start knocking down threes, and they shoot 39% from 3, they start raining threes on you, it's very difficult to deal with them. You got to shoot obviously better than 40%. Hopefully you can take UConn under their average, and you can force them into some contested shots, tough shots. Maybe if you can get them off their rhythm, even the open shots they have, they don't hit them. Also, offensive rebounding. South Carolina's top 15 in the country in offensive rebounding percentage. UConn is 75th in preventing you from getting offensive rebounds. So South Carolina's got a huge advantage here, and take advantage of your huge advantage. You know, get your offensive rebounds, your putbacks, your second chance opportunities. That's huge in this game to me. And play your game. Don't play UConn's game. Don't play UConn's tempo and pace. Play your game, your tempo, your pace. Play the way you play if you're South Carolina. South Carolina is above average in tempo. UConn plays a bit faster than South Carolina, but if you're the Gamecocks, you don't want to get sucked into the Husky style of play. You want to impose your style of play. And there's going to be runs in this game back and forth. You can't let it get away from you. I think South Carolina offensively is better than they were last year. I think with Medina Okot, you have an interior force. David Cloninger said this from Post and Courier. Like Medina's got to step it up and get back to what she was a couple weeks ago. And that's true because UConn doesn't have an answer for Okot down low. You just don't. And Joyce Edwards will be big in this game as well. So UConn likes to steal it from you, turn you over. They like to get in transition. You can't go up a ton of transition points, and you can't turn it over a bunch. And hopefully you can force UConn into some turnovers. That's the road here. This is a game South Carolina can win. No, you're not favored. No, it won't be easy. Yes, UConn's really good, but there are ways. There are ways. And hopefully we have a game to talk about on Sunday. All right, baseball tonight, 6:45 pregame, 7 o'clock first pitch. Josh Gunther takes the ball for South Carolina. Luke Harrison for Texas. Harrison's numbers are good. 2.65 ERA, a strikeout an inning, 3-0 on the season. We'll hear from Monty Lee in our Gamecock Notebook coming up. All right, men's Final Four this weekend. Danny Hurley, the head coach of UConn, talking about at Storrs, Connecticut for the men, they don't hang banners for just making it to the Final Four.
Like the reality is that moment's over. It's an incredible moment. You'll have that the rest of your life. But we came here for rings, not watches. Everyone that comes to the Final Four gets a beautiful watch. But only one group's going to get a ring. you know, so get off social media, stop injecting the dopamine into your arm, and get serious about the preparation and the practice, because we don't hang banners for Final Fours at UConnl. We hang national championship banners, and if you want to hang a banner, you got to get your eyes off social media, get your face out of the phone, and get locked in on Illinois, because, you know, Illinois is one of the best teams in the country, and they're as big a threat to winning this tournament as any of the 4 teams.
Yeah, I mean, look, Illinois is going to be tough, a tough out for UConn. Illinois has been playing really well, but the Connecticut had a phenomenal comeback to beat Duke. I went with UConn because, I mean, they've been in these games. Danny Hurley has won back-to-back national championships, his 3rd Final Four in 4 years. You know, they've got Alex Caravan has played in all of those games. I just feel better. I mean, Luke Murray's draws up some serious offense, even though they have been a little inconsistent on offense this year. I'm going to take Connecticut because of the culture and the bend there and the experience. Could Illinois win? Sure. I'm telling you, this game's crazy. On the flip side, Arizona-Michigan is going to be a war. I think that's a national championship game. I'm taking Arizona by half a point. How's that sound? All right, Gamecock Notebook is next here on the Postgame Show on the Game.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network, Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
Go to 1075thegame.com and check out our sweet deals, like $50 worth of great eats from Grill Marks for just $25 and a 6-month membership to the YMCA for half price. It's all at 1075thegame.com. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at herndonchevy.com.
Sponsored by SC Education Lottery. Did you know that since 2002, more than 2.8 million lottery-funded scholarships such as the Life, Hope, and Palmetto Fellow scholarships have been awarded to South Carolina students? Playing for fun is a win for education. Visit sceducationlottery.com/educationwins for more information.
At Atkins Law, we believe that if you've been hurt on the job or in a car wreck, recovery should come first. I'm DeWanna Looper.
And I'm Joe Whiteman.
We're not just the voices you hear, we're the faces you'll see if you come in.
Accidents can cause a lot of stress and worry. Our team shows up for you during those difficult times by offering thoughtful guidance.
We're small on purpose, local by design, and serve with compassion.
Remember, who you hire matters. Check us out at hollyatkinslaw.com.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they were very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because Rhino Shield is backed by a 25-year warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick. Put down that paintbrush and pick up your phone. Call Rhino Shield at 833-RHINO-99. Call now and receive 15% off the regular price. Or go to RhinoShieldCarolina.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
For your 15% off, call now, 833-RHINO-99. Or go to RhinoShieldCarolina.com.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Plus tax, tags, and title with approved credit. Call 888-320-6359 for details. At JT's Jeep Ram, the savings are already built in. You can see for yourself online the deep discounts we offer on new Wranglers, Grand Cherokees, Rams, and more. No guessing or games, just real savings. Clearly displayed on our website. And if you've got a trade, JT is offering up to 25% more for it. JT's Jeep Ram, 378 Lexington or Greystone Boulevard. JT'sJeep.com or JT'sRam.com. Declaration of Deal Sales Event.
Are you stuck staring at your W-2? Are tax refund worries holding you back? You probably have FOMO, the fear of messing up. The fix? Using TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. It's time to overcome your fear of messing up and get your taxes done right. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
At Average Amy's Coffee Corner, our coffee has caffeine, our muffins are cooked, and our services, well, we're here. Come on by for an average cup of joe.
Average doesn't build great businesses. Cumulus Digital does, outperforming industry benchmarks by more than 25%. We deliver smarter digital marketing to over 4,000 local businesses every month and drive real, measurable growth. You're not average. Your marketing results shouldn't be either. Visit cumulusdigital.com to start outperforming today.
Taking care of your car has never been easier. Hi, I'm Brandon at Wetzel's Automotive. We provide top-notch maintenance services from fluid checks to engine diagnostics, ensuring your vehicle stays reliable and efficient. Every service includes a complimentary 28-point inspection to give you peace of mind. Drive confidently knowing your car is in expert hands. Visit us at 2017 Augusta Road in West Columbia or online at wetzelsauto.com.
Everybody loves streaming till you have to pay for it. Just download the 107.5 The Game app and stream us for free.
The Postgame Show with Jay Phillips and Terry Ford on the Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube. It's time to open the Gamecock Notebook on the Postgame Show with Jay Phillips and Terry Ford on the Game Network.
All right, Gamecock Notebook. Let's focus now on what happened last night at Founders. South Carolina, really nice win, man, over Texas. Probably second best win of the year behind that W against Clemson on a Friday. For that series, you win Friday, then you lose Saturday and Sunday. Hopefully, now that you've won the opener against Texas 9-1, you can now back that up. Just win one of the next two, and you win a series against the number 2 ranked team in the country. Tonight's pitching matchup, Luke Harrison, 3-0, 2.65 ERA, a strikeout an inning. Josh Gunther, 2-2, 6.97 ERA, over a strikeout an inning. Had some weather maybe in the 5 and 6 o'clock hour, but then after that, everything should be good for baseball. Again, 6:45, our coverage starts here on the Game in Columbia at 107.5 in our sister station, 100.3 the Game in Myrtle Beach. The women tonight in the Final Four, again, will be on our sister station, B106. Coverage starts at 6:30. The tip for that Final Four game is at 7 o'clock. Monty Lee, talking to the media after the victory, talked about playing a complete game. Let's skip that. No. Here's Monty talking about, and this I thought was a very interesting cut. Monty explaining about hunting your pitch and making the starter, who has got a 4-pitch mix, just basically a 2-pitch pitcher. It's good stuff from Monty Lee.
It's really just been about, we're hunting pitches. We call it hunt and shrink. That's basically what we call it. We're trying to hunt pitches before 2 strikes and then shrink the zone down to like 1 pitch in 1 spot with 2 strikes because, let's just be honest, the Gamecocks tend to strike out some. And we strike out some because we tend to expand the strike zone entirely too much with 2 strikes. We're almost too defensive and just trying to put balls in play. I told him, I said, I'm tired of watching that. We're going to shrink the zone and be offensive in 2-strike counts. Just be offensive. Just be offensive all the time. You walk up to the plate, you got a weapon in your hand. Aluminum bat is a weapon. So, be offensive all the time and really just try to take the pressure of the guys, take the pressure out of it. Hey, we're going to strike out some, so be it. But, let's be offensive. Just kind of change the mindset of the players a little bit to be a little bit more confident and aggressive with their plans and with their approaches. And, and look, it's worked for us so far. We've got a big game tomorrow and got to prepare and get ready for that one. We got to enjoy this win, but we also got to move on from it and get ready for tomorrow. But I'm super proud of the way that we played tonight, and hopefully we can continue to do it.
Now, man, I like that. I like that quote. I think it's very interesting because, look, we all talk about striking out. Because I've said this, I don't think a strikeout is just another out. It's not like popping up to short, right? Or hitting a fly ball to center or grounding out to second or whatever. Because in those instances, I don't know, you're putting the ball in play, and especially in college baseball, you have a shot, maybe somebody's going to make an error, and all of a sudden you're on base. But putting the ball in play, concentrating on not striking out when you have 2 strikes, But that doesn't mean that you're not up there swinging the bat. Yeah, I mean, are you changing approach to, put the ball in play? Sure. But if you get a fastball down the middle, you get a fastball down the middle. Don't be afraid to, take a swing, take your natural swing, and do damage. I just think, again, older school hitters would change their approach with 2 strikes so they wouldn't strike out. But Monty's saying that his guys, and this is there's some things I've liked about Monty since he's taken over, and one of them is reading the room. We got to have more fun. We got to enjoy ourselves. Because he read the room, these guys weren't having fun. Baseball was like, I don't know, biology class when you're cutting open frogs. To this day, the smell of formaldehyde makes me sick. I had a little short aside. I used to have biology right before lunch. Cutting open a frog, and then I'm going to lunch. And no, I wasn't. No, I didn't look at that frog and go, man, cutting open this frog makes me really hungry. No. So anyway, these guys weren't having fun. And Monty read the room. We got to have fun. Monty's reading the room now saying, look, you guys are defensive with 2 strikes. You guys are almost nervous with 2 strikes. Scared you're going to strike out. You can't be like that either. Because then your at-bat's just not going to be good. And if you are, you're not making decent contact. So Monty, reading the room, said, you know what, screw it, guys, we're going to strike out. It happens. Let's go up there with a plan. Let's hunt pitches. Let's be aggressive. I love the line. You have a weapon in your hand. And a baseball bat is a weapon. If you don't believe me, watch the TV show Ray Donovan. If you know, you know. So I like that. And I've always been a big fan of hunting pitches. Because it's a no-brainer. There's certain pitches, if you play baseball, there's certain pitches you hit better than others. Maybe your fastball outside at your knees. Maybe it's inside at your knees. Maybe you're better hitting the pitch around belt high. Whatever it is, you know the pitches you hit best. And today's world of analytics, coaching staffs pretty much hand you the information that says this is the pitch you hit the best. Look for that pitch. You get it, destroy it. So good stuff there from Monty Lee. All right, let's also get Monty talking about Alex Valentin and how good he has been.
I was very pleased with what we got out of him. And I actually, I would have liked to have seen him, attack a little bit more with the fastball. I thought he tried to mix maybe a little bit too much. Like his off-speed stuff was good, but I would have liked to have. I thought he got in some deeper counts just by probably mixing a hair too much, just for my liking. They weren't really squaring him up. I know the 3-hole guy got him on a 2-2 changeup. I think it was a changeup up out over the plate. That guy's hitting 380. He's a good hitter. But I thought, he could have maybe extended himself another batter or 2, maybe 3 batters. Had he just been, a hair more aggressive with the fastball and not trying to mix quite as much. But I thought he did great. I really did. That's asking a lot out of him, but he was fired up and ready to go. Heck, we were taking BP, and he was down in the bullpen throwing med balls against the wall. I almost tried to find Terry during batting practice, say, hey, man, we got to tone that kid down. He's down there slinging med balls in the wall, and he's going crazy. So he's a lot of fun. That kid is a lot of fun. He's a lot of fun to be around. I absolutely love him.
That's funny, slinging med balls against the wall. You're just sitting around the stands looking around going, who's that crazy dude throwing those medicine balls? Well, that's a starting pitcher tonight. Alex Valentin, 3 appearances in a week. Good last night, got him stretched out a bit. And who knows where it goes. Valentin has been a late inning high leverage guy. Now he's been a starter twice here in the last week, one kind of an opener. We'll see. But he's had some good moments this year for South Carolina. All right, here's your Gamecock Notebook. A drive around the SEC. We'll come back with that here on the Postgame Show with Terry Ford. Thanks for hanging out with us here on the Game Network, and at the Game TV Radio, our little YouTube channel.
All my sports. The Game Network. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 96.9 The Game in Charleston. 100.3 The Game in Murfreesboro. Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Everybody loves streaming till you have to pay for it. Just download the 107.5 The Game app and stream us for free.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text HIM to 215215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text HIM to 215215. That's HIM to 215215. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Paid for by Adaptive Health.
Hi, my name is John, and I'm self-employed, and we got sidetracked on our taxes at the 2008 recession, and it became a monster that we couldn't tackle ourselves. We heard about the Ecton Law Firm on the radio and contacted John. If you could classify someone as a miracle worker, I would put him at the top of the list because he took our problem and resolved it for us with our not only our unpaid taxes, but our unfiled tax returns from previous years. And I would highly recommend the Ecton Law Firm.
It's great to know we have changed people's lives for the better. Hi, this is local attorney John Ecton with the Ecton Law Firm. For over a decade, our office has been dedicated to helping hardworking individuals and businesses solve tax problems for good. So if you have years of unfiled tax returns or are facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call our office today at 771-9800 or go to EctonLawFirm.com. That's ECTON lawfirm.com. Let's get your tax problem solved for good. Call today. You'll be glad you did.
Hey, this is Terry Ford. Got a little story time for you. If you're a business or property owner and you're needing to deter any unwanted cars from parking in your parking lots, definitely call Schroeder's Towing. They'll provide signage for your business completely free of charge. Anytime a vehicle is parked in your lot that shouldn't be, Schroeder's Towing will be there to make sure your lot stays open for your employees, customers, and tenants. Trust me, I know firsthand what happens when you ignore Schroeder's Towing signage. Just go online at schroederstowing.net.
Just dial pound 250 and use the keyword tow truck.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
Explore the world with the 31st Annual Columbia International Festival, April 18th and 19th at the State Fairgrounds with free parking. Experience over 100 national exhibits, cuisines from around the world, an international bazaar, a global fashion show, an Olympic-style flag ceremony, and performers from around the globe. Now partnering with the SC250 Revolutionary Discovery Center. For tickets and more information, visit CIFonline.org. That's CIFonline.org.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass. ShepherdsGlass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia. The Game TV. Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass. It's the Game Network Traffic Report from the Schroeder's Towing Traffic Center. Broken down and need a tow or even free signage for your lot? Dial pound 250 and use keyword tow truck today.
Again, nice smooth day on the roads. No accidents. Just our typical construction areas. Broad River Road between I-26 and Dutch Fork Road, Blythewood Road between Winsboro Road and Wilson Boulevard, Bluff Road at Bluff Industrial Boulevard, Atlas Road at Shop Road and Garner's Ferry, I-20 between Sunset Boulevard, Bush River Road, I-26 between Bush River Road and Old Sandy Run Road, McNulty Street between Blythewood Road and Main Street. Come back and drive around the SEC here on the Postgame Show on the Game.
It's time for our drive around the SEC on the Postgame Show.
Georgia on the mountaintop. Demons be gone, and the drought is over. National champions.
On the Game Network and on 107.5, the Game app.
Before we get to the drive around the SEC, David Dare has a little meteorologist in his Apple Watch that tells us the rain will start in 3 minutes and last, 32? 32 minutes. We should be okay for baseball. According to the meteorologist in Dave's Apple Watch. Little fella. Little teeny fella. All right, back to the drive around the SEC. Obviously, Carolina, Texas tonight and tomorrow afternoon. Tonight's game, we've been promoting it for, feels like, hours, because we have. 6:45 pregame, 7 o'clock first pitch tonight. Again, pitching matchup. Josh Gunther against Luke Harrison for the Texas Longhorns. All right, rest of the SEC. Tonight, number 16, Alabama, and number 11, Oklahoma. Vandy and number 20, Texas A&M. LSU in Knoxville to take on Tennessee. Number 24, Kentucky hosting Missouri. Number 21, Florida at home. Ole Miss showing up in Gainesville. Number 17, Arkansas. Number 18, Auburn. That's the lineup for tonight in the SEC. All games, I believe, SEC Plus. Yes. Or we do have SEC Network, to be fair. Georgia, Mississippi State, SEC Network. Tonight. No, it's SEC Plus. I'm sorry. I'm losing my mind. Just ignore me. SEC Network is Tennessee LSU. That will be starting just about now, 5:30. All right, so that's what's happening in the SEC tonight. Standings in the league. Still not even halfway through the season. Georgia leads away at 8-2, 25-6 overall. Georgia's won 5 straight. Only played 5 road games this year, but Georgia's 4-1 on the road. Mississippi State, a game behind Georgia at 7-3, 25-6 on the season. Mississippi State 18-1 at home this year. How about those Cowbells? Texas tied for second place with Alabama and Mississippi State. Texas 25-4, 7-3 in the league. Longhorns only 3-3 on the road this year so far. Alabama tied with Texas and Mississippi State at 7-3. Bama 24-8. Excellent 17-1 home record for the Tide, but Alabama 4-6 on the road. Already 10 road games. Florida, Vanderbilt, both 6-4. Florida 23-8. Vanderbilt's only 19-12. And Vandy's 1-3 on the road in league play, or 1-3 on the road for the season, I should say. Kentucky at 5-4. Wildcats only have lost 1 game at home all year, 14-1. By the way, winning streaks, going back to this, I missed this. Vandy right now leads the SEC with the longest win streak currently at 6 in a row. Texas A&M, Auburn, both 5-5. Auburn's 3-4 on the road, while A&M 17-3 at home. LSU is 4-5 on the season. They've struggled at home, 7 losses in their home ballpark, but 3-0 in neutral sites. 4-6, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, and Arkansas. Teams that are ranked. Well, 2 of the 3 are ranked. Ole Miss isn't. Oklahoma's struggled on the road, 3-5 away from home. So is Ole Miss, 2-4 away from Oxford. And Arkansas has 8 home losses, 14-8 in Fayetteville. Tennessee, no Tony Vitello. It's been a struggle so far. 3-6 on the year, 1-5 on the road. Then you have South Carolina, 2-8, 1-8 on the road. And Missouri, then 1-8 on the season. They're 10-7 at home and 1-5 on the road. So there's a rundown of the standings when it comes to baseball in the SEC. D1 baseball, they have their typical amount of SEC teams in the top 25. What I find interesting about this, let's take a look real quick at some of these ranked teams who have been struggling in league play. Because the league's really good. Despite some of their struggles, Arkansas is still ranked at 17. Alabama's at 16. Auburn's at 18. Texas A&M 20. Florida 21. Kentucky 24. Texas is second in the country. Again, 7-3 in league play. Mississippi State is fourth in the country. Georgia fifth. Oklahoma's at 11th. And then we get to Alabama at 16. So even though some of these teams are scuffling a bit when it comes to one-loss record at home, they're still ranked. UCLA, by the way, number 1. Then it's Texas, Georgia Tech, Mississippi State, Georgia, North Carolina, Florida, Southern Miss, Oregon State, Virginia round out the top 10. All right, that's your drive around the SEC. We'll come back once again, turn back to the big Final Four game tonight, South Carolina, UConnl. Hit a couple things in the world of sports we have not yapped about yet. And we'll hear Monty Lee, before we get out of here, the big picture for South Carolina baseball moving forward after that win last night against Texas. It's all coming up on the postgame show with Terry Ford on The Game Network, at The Game TV Radio on YouTube.
Wow, what a play. The Game Network. Columbia, Charleston, Florence, and Myrtle Beach.
This hour of in-show listening on 1075 The Game is sponsored by QC Kinetics in West Columbia, the non-surgical regenerative orthopedic specialists of the Midlands. Request your consultation today by dialing pound 250 and use keyword QC Kinetics.
This is a Westwood One Sports Minute.
Presented by Chumba Casino, your online casino for plays, spins, and a chance to score. Must be 21 and over. Terms at ChumbaCasino.com. Anthony Edwards missed last night's game and is now ineligible for any NBA awards. This has to be one of the worst rules the NBA has implemented in a long time, and it needs to change soon. When the conversation isn't about stats and play and turns to counting games, that's a problem. I'm Adam O'Donnell.
Presented by Robinhood.
He crosses, spins, pulls up.
With Robinhood Prediction Markets, buy or sell your predictions all game long. No house odds, just you versus the market. Put your sports IQ to work. Trade every shot, block, steal, run, and moment that shifts the game. With Robinhood Prediction Markets, trade every play. Visit Robinhood.com/predict to start trading. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing, and for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Progressive knows life takes you in many directions.
Bear right at exit 32, then begin to wonder why you never bought a fish tank. In 1.3 miles, you'll realize you've been mispronouncing epitome your whole life. At the roundabout, you will remember you said something at dinner you wish you hadn't and will think about it for decades. You have arrived at your destination, but it turns out there really is no destination and life just keeps going.
Wherever life takes you, protect your home and auto with a bundle from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
America, look around. Everywhere you go, prices are still high, rates have been whipsawing markets, and the debt and spending don't exactly scream stability. Experts say diversifying with intention is the #1 secret account that all American smart money uses to hedge against instability. Monetary Gold has been around since 2000, witnessing multiple economic setbacks. If you call now, Monetary Gold will cover up to a lifetime of your IRA fees on qualified accounts. Call Monetary Gold now at 877-NOW-GOLD. That's 877-NOW-GOLD. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
The Postgame Show with Jay Phillips and Terry Ford on the Game Network, the 107.5 The Game app, and at the Game TV radio on YouTube. And now, Jay versus the Internet. It's the Postgame Show on the Game Network.
Final segment of our little get-together here on the post-game show. Terry Ford, appreciate you hanging out as we wrap this sucker up for the week. Again, we had a good time today at Charwood. It was fun. It was. We had our, we sold it out in the spring. Usually, the summer always does better than the spring. I'm just going to be honest. But thanks to you, come out and jumped in with us, and we had a sellout and a full boat, and I think it's the most we've ever had. So, yeah, thank you very much. We had fun today. I mean, the onion sausage from the Lexington Gamecock Club was phenomenal. Saki with his mimosa libations set up for the morning was great. I heard, because, you know, I can't drink while I'm working. There's these things called rules here. Jeez. Also, thank Little Pigs for the lunch at the end of the round. Barbecue sandwiches were phenomenal. So just a good day all around. We had a bunch of sponsors. It was fun. We had fun. So, again, thank you very much. Thank Rock and Daniel Lucas, Mason, and the whole crew at Charwood. They're great, man. We enjoy partnering with them. We enjoy putting these tournaments on twice a year with them because they're just good people. So, just want to take a second and thank everyone involved for today. It was fun. And, look, I'm going to say this. I'm not a golfer. It's not my bag. But I'm going to tell you what. I like hanging out on a golf course on a beautiful sunny day and just sitting and chilling. I don't have to play. I just sit there and hang out. It was all good. It's good times. All right. Tonight with South Carolina and UConnl, I've kind of gone over some of my keys. I just kind of wrote some down because I was sitting at the clubhouse at Charwood in the beautiful weather. Looking back on the two losses last year, common theme for South Carolina was they were bad on offense. They shot under 40% in both games. You got to do better. You just do. You got to get at least over 45%. And to me, you have to be above 50% at the rim. UConn doesn't have a ton of rim protectors or bigs who are going to, get in your way at the rim or near the rim. You got to score at the rim at over 50% percentage, and you got to be able to shoot over 45% overall. South Carolina's been hitting threes at a high percentage, and that's great, but the bread and butter for the Gamecocks, typically before it's all said and done, score at the rim. So South Carolina's just got to shoot better. You can't beat UConn shooting under 40%. Don't care what you're doing on defense. Speaking of defense, in Connecticut's closest game this year against Michigan, and Michigan plays a different type of defense than South Carolina, but Michigan held UConn to under 40% shooting and forced 17 turnovers. Again, in the context of defense you're going to play, man, if you throw that zone, whatever, you've just got to make UConn uncomfortable. Make them hurry their shots a little bit, like Elijah was talking about earlier. Run them off the three-point line. Kind of get them discombobulated the best you can. Because they're going to make theirs, but if you can make them be inefficient, because they're very efficient, then that's going to help you too. Because Michigan, again, only lost by 3 in that game. So if you can force UConn to have a rough night shooting, or you just hope UConn has a rough night shooting, even when they got open looks, they can't make them. That's a key. And the turnovers would be nice. Offensive rebounds. South Carolina, top 15 offensive rebounding team. Connecticut, 75th in the country in preventing offensive rebounds. That's a clear advantage for South Carolina. Fudd and Strong, they're two of the best players in America. You just got to make them work. And we have this conversation a lot. Sometimes when you have two high-level scorers like Strong and Fudd, the best shooter in women's basketball. It's insane. You look at her shooting numbers. Sometimes if you make the players work hard on defense who are skilled offensive players, it can hurt their offense at times. Make them work on D. So there is a road for this win. It's not like South Carolina is not being. South Carolina is what, a 6-point underdog? not 60. South Carolina has the talent to win this basketball game. There's just certain things you're going to have to do. You can't have key players have off nights on offense. And the flip side, you hope, UConn is not as lethal as they can be on offense. They haven't been in the last 2 games of this tournament. So the road is there. The road is there. Not going to be easy. Obviously, the Huskies are undefeated for a reason, but the road is there. All right, speaking of South Carolina, here's Dawn Staley talking about South Carolina, 6 straight trips to the Final Four, sustained success in this era. And it's not easy, obviously.
It's really total commitment to our program from our players. We have a staff that has been together for a long time. Like, we don't have very much staff turnover. So the core group of people and the core values that we bring into each season every year is what sustains us. Like, we don't necessarily go into the season and say, oh, we want to. Obviously, the big goal is to win a national championship, but that doesn't really drive us every day. What drives us every day is our habits. Like, it's a driving force. What you work on is who you're going to be. When game day comes, if you didn't have a good week of practice, it's probably going to show. And you can't be mad at it because this is what it is. It's not going to magically happen. There's not, like, oftentimes where you just have, subpar preparation that magically things aren't going to look like your preparation. It's not. That's uncommon, but sometimes people do have a little bit of uncommon favor. Wrote a book about it. Like, here it goes. But that's just it. It's about habits.
Dawn is big on that. Day in and day out, winning habits. They become second nature, obviously, because they're habits. And that doesn't just start now. It started before the season kicked in. You get your habits. You start with your habits, your game-winning habits, your positive habits. And that's how she sustains success. And they have a culture. They have a way they do things. And you got to fit in. They don't fit into you. You fit into them. That's just the way it works. That's why South Carolina is so successful. Again, tonight, there's a road here. It would not surprise me if South Carolina won the basketball game. Not many folks are picking the Gamecocks. I get it. But the things we've talked about, if you can check some of those boxes, enough of those boxes, you can walk off that court with a W. I want to see what Bart Torvik here. I saw someone in our chat, and thank you for all of your chat's going on today. They have Connecticut in the Bart Torvik winning 72-67 is the analytic victory. They say for UConn. Good news is the game isn't played with computers. So, but again, there is a road. And again, 6:30 on our sister station B1067, 7 o'clock tip. I want to get this Monty Lee cut real fast before I forget, because I will, and I don't want to. Monty was asked, after that big win last night over Texas, about the big picture for South Carolina baseball moving forward, because that was just a win that made a fan base feel good for a night, right? Here's Monty talking about the big picture for Carolina baseball as you move away from that win last night.
Well, I think it just gives the kids some proof and validation that, hey, we can win in this league. Like, we can play good baseball and win in this league. We've been competitive, Phil, but we haven't, I know I've said this a time or two, like, we just haven't kicked the door down. Played 9 innings of baseball in all phases of the game at a high enough level to beat the best teams in college baseball. And we did that tonight. So we've been competitive. We played maybe our best baseball game of the year, I would say, tonight. So that's got to give the kids confidence. and we just got to keep building on it. And I'll say this: look, if you want to find a way to play in the postseason, you got to be playing your best baseball in the second half of the season. It's really that simple. And we know that we've got an uphill battle. I talked to the kids earlier this week, and I said, like, where we want to get to is going to be hard. It's going to be hard, but it ain't impossible. And there's a big difference. When you start looking at it that way, it's going to be hard, but it's not impossible. And I gave them some examples of some teams who were right where we are that got there. So it's happened before, and we just got to believe. We got to believe in each other. We got to show up every day confident that we're going to go out there and compete for 9 innings and find a way to win.
I mean, that's kind of what it boils down to. Yeah, the odds are against you to make a run to get to the postseason at this point because you're so far. You weren't behind the 8 ball. The 8 ball had run over you, right? And then back over you again. So you have long odds. Yeah, is it impossible? Of course not. But the odds are stacked against you. But you take last night's game, and hopefully you move forward with some momentum, and who knows if you can win the series against Texas. Okay, now you're building upon something. We'll see. Luke Harrison takes the ball for the Longhorns tonight, 3-0, 2.65 ERA. Josh Gunther for the Gamecocks, 2-2, 2.97. Again, you can hear it right here on 107.5 The Game in Columbia and also our affiliate in Myrtle Beach, starting at 6:45. The women against UConnl on our sister station, B106. Everything gets underway at 6:30. Thanks for hanging out with us. Appreciate you for putting up with us all the time. Have yourself a good weekend. It's Terry Ford, post-game show. Jay and I will be back. Jay will be here Monday. I'll talk to you on Tuesday here on The Game. Have a good one.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet studio. Herndon Chevrolet is your hometown dealer. Stop by today or shop online 24/7 at HerndonChevy.com.
Sponsored by Aleve. At some point, body pain may creep in and become your reality that day. But Aleve is here to keep you moving. One pill gives you up to 12 hours of body pain relief. So don't let pain hold you back. Try Aleve today. Use as directed.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV, sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. For auto, home, and commercial glass, shepherdsglass.com. In Chapin and West Columbia, The Game TV, sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. Shepherd's Glass.
Hey, I'm Jenny Sturm. I'm with Sturmy Plumbing. Call my dad if you have any slow drains, clogged drains, leaky pipes, windy toilets, windy sinks, or no hot water. Call Sturmy Plumbing for all of your service and repair needs. 803-201-2689. At Stormy Plumbing, where we make your gray skies blue.
Hey, this is Brian with Stormy Plumbing. Give us a call at 803-201-2689. Again, the number is 803-201-2689. We look forward to hearing from you.
Want to make the most of your tax refund? File with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They help you get your biggest refund, and then we help you do more with it. With a personalized plan designed to help you hit your money goals. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Some things are meant to be together. Perfect pairs. The combos we all know and love. Like beaches and sand in your toes. A good book and the park. Or sleepy mornings and Mickey D's. It's undeniable. My personal favorite pair to help me start the day? The toasty $2.69 sausage McMuffin with egg paired with a $2 any size iced coffee. With 20 grams of protein in one sandwich and bold coffee to power my day, there's no doubt I'd call it the perfect McDonald's match. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text HIM to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text HIM to 215-215. That's HIM to 215-215.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Paid for by Adaptive Health.
Hate paying for streaming? Well, the 107.5 The Game app is free. Yes, free. Just download the 107.5 The Game app.